darkest night, the newest mode in the zombie universe is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
They got to know something's happening in H mode. He was already unable to move, and it looks like there's going to be another down onto one of the RBK members, and MBZ. Looks like that's a 2-man opening up here. Squad's trying to come in and maybe clean up a couple of fights himself, but MBZ showing that they are such a strong team, knocking down members left and right of the 69 SWAT squad, but they get the first shot. Captain going for it, but he gets dropped down. Way too many members of Nox were there. Maurice is going to be able to come up with it at the end of the day, and he will finish off Captain. Covers 963. So does Zero, and they should be able to polish them off. This is a real mismatch fight in terms of player skill, and it's on the MEA side. Remaining, he takes a shot, but he unfortunately is going to get dropped at the end of the day. MEA Lashin train the sights on. And he's going to open fire, but it's just a numbers game at this point. AM just way too strong as Lashin tries to come in around the bottom side, but they will be able to finish him off. Not before one member does get down, but that's going to be the end. Yes. Thanos. Goodbye. Dr. Luz is going to go for this, but AM have already caught wind of it. And Dr. Luz, he runs right into a nest of fire.
The top 5 spot minimum.
And Mehmet going in here, unloading onto the remaining TRD members, so they might go out here, but Hackshot is still healthy as JS, still MEA members. Here's the peek in. He gets a knockdown onto Falastine, and he can finish the job, but no, Guns is there. Hold on a second, he could do this right now. He could clutch it against Galiko. Look at the health bar. It's so low. He just needs to peek around the side, and he's done it. MEA with another chicken dinner.
Might as they push in through the windows, they may not realize where he is. They do.
Pushing away, a lot of blind fire, spraying and praying, but who's going to come up ahead? It looks like it will be RB. They get in the car, they pop out. It looks like it's a turnaround. And that's going to be one down. Los Kev comes through. He manages to get one knock, but unfortunately he takes heavy fire. And
his teammate's going to bleed out.
That's going to be Los Kev finding the down, but the rest of the members of SMP should be able to light him up. Wait a second. Free fire either. Decides waiting for the headshot, and he gets it. What a beautiful play. 2 shots onto Narcos. Wasim gets fired down by Atez, and they say you will not get a chicken dinner for the 3rd time in a row.
This is just a GG well played here. There's nothing there to do. They haven't got any advantage here. The shot's coming out, and another one's going down.
Yeah, SWAT's making a run for it, but I think there's nothing he can do here. As Lashin and the rest of the crew is coming in. That's going to be the end of the match. He's breaching through the smoke. Quiet doesn't see him, and he's going to get dropped down. Hicks
We'll have to change eventually.
into the fight. It looks like JS decided they wanted to take it downstairs, but they finish off Butcher.
He's going to be on the outside.
One shot, and that's it. RBK, they just unload. He opens it up. He's got one. He's got 2. He eliminates TRD. Rowan.
He's made it up above.
He's going to be up to the top, and Atess is going to have to deal with him right now. He does get the knockdown, but the rest of the MEA members are still standing strong. That's going to be going to the first floor into the smoke.
Mehmet's going to be able to run out.
He's got the down. This is going to be it right now. The fight is on. Atess, the last man standing for JS here. As it's absolute chaos inside the smoke. Who's going to take the chicken dinner on this final fight? 5 members alive here, and it's going to be it. JS, they just survived to the end. And welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the PUBG Mobile Club Open. We're in the semifinals. It's been a long week, but we are ready to go. I am Devin Pirate Young. I am joined by my partner in crime. It is Wee Freeman. He contains multitudes. In fact, he has one Morgan Freeman and one Gordon Freeman for you Half-Life fans in there. That's why it's men, 1+1.
I'm a big fan. That's
of both, in fact.
Yeah, of both, you know.
You kind of can't not be.
one's a fantastic character in a game, one's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
The voice of God, some might say. But
Well, I mean, he is in many ways, and not just in that movie with Jim Carrey. But that's not what we're talking about here today. What we are here to talk about is, of course, the Middle Eastern region for the semifinals. We've had 32 teams, whittled down only to 24. So we are only 3 groups remaining. The teams will face off against each other a couple of times, a little bit of smackdown, lots of brawls. Who's going to get those chicken dinners? We will find out. And here is how the tournament goes for those of you that are unfamiliar with the rules. Of course, placement rules the roost. 30 points for the first place position, and then, of course, it goes all the way down, 22, 19, 16, etc., but kills are only worth 1.
yeah, and I mean, it doesn't really matter if you're a team like TRD, because, you know, they really are ready to rock and roll and collect 101 kill points over the group stage, which they're the only team that managed to get into triple digits, which is nuts. So I think they're perfectly used to this.
Well, and they're used to getting chicken dinners as well. Far and away, TRD, who we will see today playing, honestly, the best team that we've seen so far. We thought Seven Reef was going to be able to compete with them, but Seven Reef had an atrocious final day of groups. Still second place, but man, that was a shocker, to be honest.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, hopefully they do a little bit better today. TRD had a little bit of a bad ending as well, but let's have a look at the groups today.
Yeah, these are the groups from the group stages, in fact. So we do see these teams kind of getting narrowed down. A couple of teams that we won't see anymore. They're going to be the likes of VK Gamers are out of the tournament, Via War, both of those Group A teams that will be dropping out. But, of course, you will recognize a couple of squads that are going to be making it through all the way. Of course, top 24, we had a lot of them. I think some of the big standouts for me, you look down at the bottom of Group D, Tom, and we had Light Pirates. We called them the Dancing Pirates.
I was looking at them. I had my eyes on the Dancing Pirates, the Dancing Maniacs.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Yeah,
now, things are mixed up a little bit. Now that we are into the semifinals, we will get Vikendi first, Sanhok second, but we still get those double Erangel matches. And then, of course, for day 2, we switch things up again, where we have Vikendi, then Miramar, and then for day 3 with groups B and C, it goes back to Vikendi, Sanhok.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an interesting one here. But, you know, I'm glad we've got Miramar tomorrow. I've missed it a bit. Yeah,
it really has been a good spot for a lot of those highlight plays. In fact, the one I'm always got on my mind is when it was SWAT 69 versus SNT, the previously known 69 SWAT, 1v1 clutches between, I think it was Lashin and Ray.
Yeah, I think it was, and that was one hell of an interesting ending to that, and I think most people remember that, especially as it was their first game, and they came in with such brutal force. Yeah, and then they ended it with the 20-kill max, which no one's managed to beat yet. A couple of teams nearly managed it. I think we saw highs of 16, 17, but that was about it. But as you can see on screen, guys, so Vikendi, then Sanhok, then Erangel. So it's a pretty interesting mix of maps, and if you only like one, then obviously you can feel free to watch that. But if you love Erangel, there's a double bill.
And who doesn't love Erangel? Let's be honest, right? I mean, it's the Morgan Freeman of PUBG maps.
Yeah, I know.
You can't not like Erangel. It's the place where all the cool stuff goes down. That being said, we've seen some cool stuff on Vikendi. We've seen some interesting strategies on Sanhok. I want to see how the teams have adapted over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, adaptation is going to be a big thing, especially with the fact that now we've gone down into 3 groups. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys have adapted to each other on this run. And, I mean, even with this group today, A versus B, we are going to be seeing TRD go up against 7T, which is going to be an interesting sort of fight.
For sure.
Who's going to come out on top? A bit difficult to say, because on one hand, TRD are very much sort of group heavy. They're very much a squad team. And then you get to 7T, where they're more of like a clutch players. I mean, just look at Reef when he got that 16-kill clutch.
Reef is the standout. The thing is, though, TRD, they feel like they have 4 clutch players on their squad. They're one of the few teams to actually not utilize a substitute. There's only 5 out of our remaining 24 that are like that, and they're far and away the best one. But you look at every player on that roster. You look at the likes of Hickstew. You look at Kevin, who even had a clutch performance on that D-Day Beach play over in Erangel about a week ago. Honestly,
clutch play that he did fail to.
He didn't win 1v2, but at the same time, like that team looks like they were going to get wiped in 5th. He makes it to 2nd. I don't think you can really take anything away from TRD. They are, in fact, the real deal in more than just name.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Got to give them props to that.
Well, I want to see how they do going forward, though, because their last 2 maps, that was kind of the roughie. They had 2 Erangels where one of them, the worst we've ever seen them place, they go out in 13th, which at that point was the bottom placement because it was only 13 teams loading in. And they get into a crate battle immediately with SNT. And then they get wiped.
So
and we're like, what are you doing? They'd already guaranteed themselves first, so like maybe they were trolling, but it felt so weird.
Yeah, I mean, the last 2 days, it was very much that they were hot dropping to go and get kills. They didn't really care. And it was obvious to see. We saw them drop in places that they weren't used to. Before that, they were playing properly and not hot dropping. And some people say hot dropping can be quite disrespectful. But you know what? At the same time, it gives all the teams practice.
It's very entertaining.
And yeah, and there was only, I think, 2 or 3 teams that didn't go through through to semifinals due to the fact that we had a large amount of teams not actually show up for the group stage. So they were fairly safe, and they don't really care if they got first, second, or third, because they knew that they were going to be able to dominate.
No, that's a totally fair point, right? There were only a handful of teams actually fighting out in the bubbles. We saw the likes of, for instance, SB, Sahibalata, they dropped out. And then it was 46 Loot that stepped up in the clutch. They had a pair of chicken dinners, and this team had done absolutely nothing over the course of the previous days. And all of a sudden, they come in guns a-blazing, get all those kills, and it was amazing. But, of course, if you missed any of that information and want to know how the teams got where they are, you can, of course, head to our website at clubopen.pubgmobile.com, where you will find up-to-date statistics as well as all of our historical data relating to not just the ME region, but all around the world for the PUBG Mobile Club Open.
Yeah, I mean, if you're missing anything and you want to keep up to date with all the semi-finals, because obviously group stage was pretty complicated. There was 4 different groups, so many teams, 32 teams in total, technically, that were playing against each other. But now we cut it down to quite a few less, and now we have the opportunity to be able to bring you even more highlights. And, well, you know what? Talk about highlights, mate.
Speaking of, yeah, you know, there's a place you can go and catch it. If you have missed any of the tournament, you want to check out how the teams got there with the highlight reels, you can check it out on our YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/PUBG Mobile Esports. And while you're there, don't forget to smash that subscription and
ding-dong that notification bell.
I never get tired of that one.
Oof.
It's a good one. I mean, one of these days I'm going to record you saying it and play it back, and hopefully you'll make it ringtone. And then my life will be fully complete.
And I will never stand around him again. Because it'd just be so awkward. Just hearing my voice over and over again.
Ding dong, that notification bell. I mean, I can do it. I can record myself imitating you, and then it's just kind of like this reference of a reference.
I'll then put that as my ringtone.
Ooh, there you go. So if it's your own voice, you don't want to do it.
Exactly.
Okay, but
you know
we
what?
are on to Vikendi. Let's stop talking about ourselves and talk about these teams loading up here, Tom. The plane coming over Dobro Mesto and moving all the way down to Hot Springs.
Interesting times, Hot Springs. Let's see if there's any hot drops coming out from these teams starting off. So it's actually going to be going off that sort of Cosmodrome area, so it'll be interesting to see if any teams do decide to rotate over that way, and if any of these teams have decided to look up any strategies as to how to play this map, because there's not really any in regards to competitive play, but it could be the fact that they actually learn how to loot properly and potentially also pick up cars and rotate over towards their loot spawns first of all. And maybe a couple of them have also got their preferred towns now, because a lot of them were spread all over the place. So let's have a look where they are dropping here. So I want to keep an eye on TRD, and they are going over towards their usual players of Goraka, and there's a couple of teams who are going to be contending them. And that circle lands on them.
Oh, what a debate for half the teams. That circle goes to the northwest. It's so much water. In fact, it even hits a bit of the continent up north. Like, that is one of the most remote Vikendi circles we've ever seen.
That is insane. And, I mean, talking about the water circles, water there, relatively to how TRD seem to be getting all these circles in their favor is relative to actually Liquid, who on the sort of the PC roster, they tend to always get the circles. And there's a big meme of the fact that, okay, how much did you buy these circles for? And you know what? I'm starting to think TRD have the same strategy, that they're actually buying a lot of these circles. And well, there's the first fight coming out here between LND and 69.
Yeah, we've already got a couple of knocks as well, and you can see the Rush to Crush members getting involved in a lot of action. It's traded back and forth. And this is over by Goraka, which means these teams did, in fact, hot drop and just started going at each other for the first start. 2 of the 17 members are already knocked, and that's not a great start for the team that is in second place and trying to prove that they can be even better. And then also the same thing's happening there with 69 SWAT.
And they've got one person left standing, and he might be able to do something here.
That's Rush getting knocked out. And I was going to talk about how Rush to Crush had such a fantastic opening match on Vikendi. It doesn't look like we're in for a repeat performance.
That's going to be an interesting one there. They do actually recover it, so have to give them props for that. Being able to recover and should be able to get 2 members up. So they're only going to have lost 1 member, but they wiped Rush to Crush. And we did see another wipe here, I think, actually.
Yeah, LND.
Yeah, LND out. That's going to be painful. I mean,
interesting.
We have to see what we thought on them
so
later on.
LND get wiped second, so they technically go out in 14th place, but still not a whole lot of points to talk about. This is SNT, formerly known as the 69 SWAT members. We also saw SWAT 69, so they're using the same tags, of course, but they are different teams. And SWAT 69 looked like the more impressive from the get-go, but then things kind of changed.
Yeah, I think it kind of evened out. And actually, you know what, IK, they kind of evened out themselves as well over the course of the play.
Emailed themselves out.
Emailed themselves out, not
you
quite.
You ever emailed yourself anything?
No, actually.
Actually,
I have
emailed.
emailed. Yeah, I have emailed myself in the past.
I feel like an old person.
I just want to talk about LCK, because we've not really seen fantastic things from them. It's been a bit hit and miss, and we do see Red Bull there. I think we're going to talk about them a little bit. But, I mean, when it comes to their performance, it's been a bit of hit and miss. Hopefully they come into a little bit stronger this time round. They have got a substitute, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they do. I think Slum is one of the players that sometimes swaps in, but it's Evil that's actually in as well, who is their other substitute. Looking at their rosters, just want to check through who LTK usually run with. It's 9-9 that's not in for them right now, so they are using Evil instead. Ooh,
I think that is a mistake, because we were discussing this earlier, and 9-9 was pretty much the standout player on their roster for us. He was able to get the sort of relocations in regards to service. If the rest of his team died, he was able to get away, or he was able to do a couple of clutch plays in some fights. But we'll see. IK are going to be running away from this fight.
Yeah, they don't want to take it. I think you mentioned LTK being kind of a hit or miss team. I think it's very literal in that case, because they tend to always take fights, but then the bullets kind of get Stormtrooper syndrome every now and again. And as a result, the team has been very up and down. They either go out very early or they last very long. Yeah, it is inconsistency. But taking stock of where we're at, we've had those 2 eliminations early, a couple of fights. Here's a team that didn't take any fights early on and found themselves a nice little spot to hide out. It's HeadHunterrs. It's our sole representatives from Bahrain here in the ME region. And they've been a little up and down as well, but mostly they kind of trended upward in the last couple of days of play and really got like an average of like 5th, 6th, 7th place, which is not bad, all things considered.
Yeah, I mean, being able to get that sort of position in, considering the fact that they're not really anything spectacular, but it was more the fact that they managed to get a decent average placement of the 7th place or 8th. It was about 7th or 6th place they managed to get sort of average of, which was pretty impressive considering they've not been crazy good. One of their best games was on Sanhok on the 6th day, where they did manage to come in and do fantastic performance.
Now, you did mention, we were talking before in all of our preparation, that one of the big things that irked you about HeadHunterr is the fact that they seem to tunnel really hard, especially when they play on this map on Vikendi. You want to go into detail about that? Yeah,
so if we have a look back on, it was actually, on the 6th day when they played on Vikendi, and I think, if I'm right in saying it was 6-9 SWAT they were playing against, and they took down one of their members, killed him, but then they just stayed in that fight. They didn't try to spread outside the building too much. 6-9 SWAT pretty much just swarmed the house around the edges, took a couple of shots, and they didn't think about the fact that they had to move for the circle. They just went in for the fight, and that was it. That was all they concentrated on, rather than the fact that, okay, circle's coming in, we need to get a decent placement. Let's sort of rotate out this, but instead, it was just tunnel vision on the fight.
And we've seen a couple of teams kind of pull that off to their peril, right? They may win the fight, but all of a sudden the zone comes in and it kills them dead anyway. So it's a bit of a downtime right now while everyone is kind of running for it, but there are a number of teams that actually aren't making moves here, as the blue hasn't started to come in just yet.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about Vikendi that a lot of people aren't sure about is the fact that how slow the circles are, how close the compounds are, and also the constant wind noise that is on the map as well. I know a lot of people are a little bit unsure of the fact that that should actually be in it, because there's a little bit of, sure, the ambient noise is appreciated, but there's a time and place for it. When you're trying to play a competitive game, it's a bit difficult.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I mean, what does this really add to like the overall difficulty playing on this map that we haven't seen on competitive on the desktop version of PUBG? The teams have had a little bit of time to get used to it, but do you feel like it's still kind of hard for a lot of the squads here to really adapt to it, considering we have so little play?
I think we've still got to give it a bit more time. I think by the end of the regional qualifiers, we'll probably see people having a lot more access to sort of tactics when it comes to how they should play, where they should drop, and what they shouldn't do, and where they should avoid going. Because it could be actually like Dino Park is a terrible place to drop, because we've not actually seen that once. Although that's just completely RNG. But you know what I'm saying, that there might just be certain places they want to avoid.
Yeah, it looks like HeadHunterrs, they kind of found a place that favored the circle as well. We talked about them earlier on, but they have moved to a different compound, a little bit closer to the center of the circle. And this team, honestly, I feel like they do their best work when they're not in a direct firefight.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them as well on Sanhok versus UN. I can't remember where it was. It was maybe Winery or somewhere close like that on the southern side of the map. And they did actually back away from that fight. So that is one moment they didn't actually get tunnel focused, and they did realize they needed to back away. They got one player down, they picked him up, and they ran away. I'd like to see more of that from them, and you may say, why are you telling them to run away from fights? It's like, well, live to fight another day. Placement is so much more important than kills. For most of these teams.
And that's what the Light Pirates were especially good at, right? For a long time, we joked about them being the janitor team, like never really being able to do anything but pick off stragglers. But then on the final day, they just said, all right, Caster, time to shut up. And they just completely decimated people. And then in the final game, which they were out in like 10th place, was their worst game by far, and they just started dancing in the house again.
Yeah, I mean, they could have probably gone on and done a fantastic job in that one, but they won the first game and then lost the second game, but came second, and then won the third game on Erangel, and then they just decided to dance around in apartments because they were obviously just like, we honestly don't care. We've qualified this forever. We've proven that we can get frags. We're not just a rotation team. We are actually able to take fights when we don't just focus on rotations. And it'd be interesting to see how they perform in the semifinals, considering the fact that a lot of these teams should be able to look at where their rotations are going. So say if I'd like to say on Erangel, where if the circle goes up north, people are going to be able to know where to cut off these other teams whilst they're rotating. Instead of just rotating instantly for themselves, they should go in for the frags on the rotators.
That's fair. Now, Light Pirates aren't, of course, playing today. It is only groups A and B, but let's take a look at where this circle is comparatively and where the teams are, because we've talked about the original placement, but we didn't talk about it. The teams that were sitting outside of it have now started to move in. UN, just on the outside to the south. They're being cut off by MEA as well. 7T, very far away, still over at Tovar and moving towards Dino Park. LTK, extremely far as well. So the teams are going to start clustering in, and it's been interesting. We had a couple of early hot drop fights, and then absolute silence for the past 10 minutes, or 5 minutes or so, and it's been kind of an interesting turn of events.
Yeah, and you just mentioned 7T there. They were obviously part of the initial action against Rush to Crush, and they somehow managed to come out on the other side of that, once again, in a clutch situation, which is something that we've highlighted that is their clutch, quite literally. And so the thing is, they're now down to 3 members, but that doesn't even scare me. They could easily still win this. They're definitely one of those teams where we see, oh, okay, they've only got 1 member left alive. Well, is it Reef? Yes, okay, they have a high chance.
Ever since that Erangel game, man, I am never going to count 7T out. But I really do hope this comes down to a TRD versus 7T fight, because I want to see who is the best of these two teams. We haven't seen them directly face off since the opening day of the tournament.
Insane. Yeah.
But we might have a few more teams left to get through first. SMP we saw facing down 7T, checking in with other placements. It looks like this is HeadHunterr's kind of making moves. And that's another team that they really do like to take these scenic routes through the map, often dropping a little far outside the circle. And you can see on the side of your screen, it'll continue to narrow down, and then we'll finally get the answer where the next circle is going to be.
Yeah, and we do have AXT in this map as well at the moment. And back on the first day, they had Clown, who was driving around a vehicle trying to stay alive the best he could.
Oh, that's right. The solo positioning.
Yeah, and they actually had like a fairly average day that day. But
join me. Just shoot Make this more awkward.
Wait a minute. SMP are doing their best Light Pirates impression.
Make this more awkward.
Go on, cast their dancing.
Yeah, let's make this more awkward. Yeah, no, it is pretty good. I think Seif has got like some decent moves himself. Like, see how he's kind of moving off to the side. The other players kind of chasing each other. Now, they are well within the next circle, but they are going to be facing down against 7T and also SWAT 69.
Interesting circle positioning here. It's kind of what I'd expect. There's not really too much it could do from.
It's competitive circles, right? Like, this is one of those ones where you're kind of guaranteeing the next 2 positions.
I mean, the way the circles happen is it's pretty much calculated before the map has happened. So the end circles are already known on the server as to where it's going to be positioned, and that end circle has to be on land 100%. No longer is it going to be any sort of water circles, which is in the days gone by over a year ago, more than over a year ago now since that. So we should really see this closer to Goroka or Coal Mine, I'd imagine, in regards to the last circles. But we'll see. I hope,
man, we're getting some boat fights.
I hope it does go down to Goroka, because that's actually where most of the teams aren't.
Ooh, that's a good point, actually. Teams will have to face off against one another. And speaking of, this is a bit of a face-off between the 7 Reef team and SNP. Now, I did a little bit of research, by the way, Tom, because there's a player who is using, of course, Chinese characters in their name. And notice how it's the same 2 characters repeated?
Yeah.
You know what those characters mean?
No idea.
Sniper.
Sniper.
It's a pretty baller name when you think about it. So he's literally Sniper, Sniper, Sniper.
I don't actually remember if he's I think he might have used the DMR a couple of times, but most players have. It'll be interesting to see if he's the guy who picks up the Kar 98.
I'm gonna be relying on you to track that kind of stuff. He did have a couple of great site battles where they were just across a couple buildings. On Erangel, I expect a little bit more of that, because, as you mentioned to me, on this Vikendi match, we often see players kind of like going in for those quick house breaches and stuff, because it is a much more compound-to-compound based map.
And, I mean, Snapper or SNP are pretty much one of those teams that do tend to do those sort of breaches. Very similar. They kind of remind me of an upgraded version of Rush to Crush. I think it's due to the fact that on the first day, they had, or first and second day, they had similar results in regards to how they were playing. Rush to Crush then kind of went to the bottom, and they didn't do anything spectacular.
They've not had a great game, honestly, since their opener on Vikendi, and that's the sad thing, is because we thought so much of this team, and then it kind of like went all the way down. Now, here's where we look at the players that are going to be alive on all of the squads, in the squads that are still left. So you can see iKurdTeam, IK, they kind of survived with only 2 in one of those early fights. 7 Reef, as you mentioned, lost 1. Everybody else is a full health squad.
Yeah, so IK were fighting up against... who was it again? It was on the right next limit.
God, I can't remember. It was like so long ago. We've had no action for so long there, Tom.
Yeah, I want to say... You know what?
Was it LTK, actually? Because they're going to meet up with them again.
Yeah, it was LTK, actually. Yeah.
Because it was Red Bull.
Yeah, Red Bull killed one of their members, if I remember correctly. So this could be interesting because they're actually having the advantage point here.
This is Baro and I believe Rowan are the only 2 left alive. Now, Rowan was that hero of last week where he wiped out the TRD members. Or was it Kawan? I always mix them up.
It was Rowan.
Okay.
So he was the guy who brutalized TRD's chance of being able to get the final chicken dinner.
Honestly, guys, like you should definitely go check out the highlights if you did not see the group stages because there were some sick plays. And that was kind of IK's claim to fame there because he was just hiding in the water for ages.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the main thing that they've done all together. And I think he actually got the only kills on his team, which was all 3, which was really good for them. And it was a really nice, iconic moment for them. And it's really time for them to shine. And here we go.
Fight's already started. It looks like Rowan getting knocked. Baro might have to go for him, but Eva leading the charge on the LTK side, looking to finish what they started earlier on. And I think this might be all she wrote for iKurdTeam. Rowan is going to get dropped, so it's down to Baro.
So Baro's trying to rotate away from this. It's not going to be very easy for him.
No, definitely not. Oh, getting knocked, getting killed. LTK, well, they do live to kill, and they definitely got a squad wipe. So that's out in 14th place for IK.
Yeah, and I mean, LTK have had a fantastic performance on Vikendi before, but it was very much in favor of them because it was when they were on the cliff side on the circle across the river, if you remember that. And they were actually just sniping people for days. All 4 of them, I think, or 3 of them had Kar 98s, were just taking pot shots here, left, right, and center. And they ended that game with, I think, a decent amount of kills, maybe 11 or something.
It does seem to be their map, too. It's just too bad for them that we don't see as often of this because the teams that are better on the likes of Erangel, they're going to be shining a lot more.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, and we're going to be seeing this map a little bit more often than beforehand because obviously we've got Vikendi, Sanhok, and Erangel today, but tomorrow we've got Vikendi, Miramar, and Erangel. So, yeah.
Yeah, we really only swap out Sanhok for Miramar. I'm looking forward to getting back into the Miramar, but that is tomorrow. Let's talk a little bit more about today because it looks like we are going to be seeing SNT kind of waiting off to the side as Snap have kind of moved in these 2 vehicles. It's one of those things. On the first couple days of the tournament, we saw teams playing the cardinal sin of having only 1 vehicle, and then they got blown to high heaven and kind of changed it around a bit.
So this guy's actually going to go next to TRD, and I don't think this is going to be the best idea.
That's never a good idea. SMP are bringing 2. Hickshu's by himself, though, so he actually leaves the compound. Wait a second. Snap are going to be losing members left and right, it looks like. Seif gets taken incredibly low, and so does Thanos.
Yeah, so they're actually pretty lucky, though, behind this hard cover wall, so they're going to be healing up. And hopefully their teammates can help them.
Yeah, painkillers, there we go.
Yeah, so the Molotovs and grenades are going to be coming out, but unfortunately...
This is why you don't preach against TRD. These guys are real good.
I mean, what you don't do is split up like that. It was quite a weird sort of rotation for them, so we'll have to see how they survive this, and if they do.
Not sure if they knew who they were facing off against. It's a little unfortunate there, but Hickshu is going to get knocked by Seif. Perfect nade placement.
Oh, and look, the rest of SMP coming in. This could be the end of TRD.
That's not something we say very often, but they're going to be forced to evacuate the house there as the Molotov comes through and Hackshot has to move around, trying to get Hickshu back on his feet. Meanwhile, Zero outside in the brushes, trying to take pot shots there to get 1 knock.
I think he might be the clutch player for them in this situation, but he has to really help his teammates and stop the rest of the guys pushing them.
Be the case. SMP rejoining. However, it looks like Kevin does manage to get 1 down. Sprays onto Sniper, and Kevin will get the finishing blow. Seif, meanwhile, turns it around onto Kevin, getting it down, but not the limb. Hackshot gets knocked as well. SMP, they might be able to do it. Zero taken low, and if he gets dropped down, that's going to be the end for TRD minus Hickshu.
Yeah, Hickshu's going to have to do some hero plays here. Not sure if he's going to get shot from behind.
That's Narcos.
Third party might well just save TRD in this fact.
That might. That's going to be good news for TRD if they can get themselves back on their feet, but they've already lost, well, nobody. Everyone's just kind of running around on their knees for the time being. SMP down to 2. It is only Sheriff and Thanos.
Yeah, unfortunately, getting backstabbed by these guys, it's not going to be doing them any favors, and that's going to be Sharif down once again.
SMP, they're only going to be down to 1 remaining member, and Thanos is not looking too good on that health bar unless he can get over and get the res up. I don't think SMP bargained for this third party.
it was looking so good for them as well. But unfortunately, when you get third party, there's just not too much you can do because you have to consider so many different angles. But look at HeadHunterr.
Yeah, it's another big fight. HeadHunterr's getting knocked down completely. AXT taking everything from them, and they do knock them out in 13th place. This is what we talked about. HeadHunterrs, not so great in these close quarters fights. They get wiped out by Executor.
Not so good results for them. But you know what? Executor, AXT, fantastic results for them so far. They managed to breach that building. They managed to get the kills. And this is something we want to see for them because obviously we saw them play really well on the second and third days that they played. But when it came to the first day, they played okay. But it didn't matter because that day got wiped from existence.
Yeah, speaking of wiped from existence, SMP looks like they might be as well. It's all down to Thanos now. And I don't think he's got himself any of those gems in the Infinity Gauntlet.
It looks like the UN have come in here to try and balance things out, and Thanos is probably not going to be so happy about that because he's usually the one that wants to do that. But let's see what ends up happening here. TRD.
He might just play for positioning at this point.
Yeah,
UN
TRD.
up against TRD. They're never counted out. You can never count TRD out of this one. If they have 3 knocked players, it doesn't matter. They'll get them back on their feet.
The thing is, like, the position he's currently in, it's okay, but the rest of his teammates are away from him, so he's pretty much going to be stuck in a bush, quite literally. But he can be seen in that if they have a single look at it, because it's actually quite open. Unlike on the PC one where you can hide in bush for days, this one's a little bit of a different game. So TRD, I'm playing a little bit careful here against
Master's got his sights there.
UN. Yeah.
He might decide to run for it. We'll check back in with that in a little bit because we are going to be taking a look at LTK with their 3 remaining members. And LTK, you know, definitely, like you said, better performance today so far. They have been very inconsistent throughout the group stages, so they've had a week to take a step back, relax, get things going again for themselves. And remember, the points are fully reset for the semifinals, so it doesn't matter what happened the last 2 weeks. It might matter what happens now. 7T taking shots from Nox.
Hey, know what? Nox, I considered them the sort of villain name of the group, and it seems like they might be suffocating out the last hopes of 7T, which is actually all 3 members, because they obviously lost one at the very start. But maybe they can recover from this, but they are in a very bad situation. They're clumped together in one building. And this is just good news for Nox. If you group together, it just makes it so much easier to use these Molotovs and nades, which we see used so often.
Yeah, Nox are another one of those teams that are super good at breaching. They're not too dissimilar from Executor. Funny enough, both teams representing Israel, actually. Oh. But Nox are just, yeah, they're so good at tactically sweeping out. Like, you see that split with the 4 players across the way. There's no chance for 7T to leave this building.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as one of them tries to run away, which is usually what ends up happening, one jumps out, he gets knocked, and then they get breached. And that's pretty much the end of every team. And that's we see that quite often from Nox, even if they do, like, we've seen them. Ooh.
That is a great little circle. There's almost no buildings left in it.
There's quite a few, but
compared to
what there is now,
Come on, Tom. Give me some slack here, man.
Let's jump on back over towards TRD though, because they're going to be engaging in the UN, the United Nations.
They are the United Nation. They represent, of course, the UAE, but they're funny enough made up of a lot of different players, different parts of the world in the Middle East. So I guess it is a very fitting name.
Yeah, fitting name indeed. And TRD have to be careful here, because although they could potentially take them, they're now not inside the circles. They have to take into consideration that in 20 seconds, they're going to have to rotate.
That was so close. Zero does get dropped down from Hunter. Hackshot will be able to get him back up. Great use of the car's cover here, but you can see that UN are coming in.
I don't think their equipment is actually that fantastic.
For the tense moment. Okay, nade's coming out. But this is the thing, TRD, they stick together. You can see Thanos is just off watching right now. Hixu is going to get dropped down again by Thanos from the backside, so he continues to be a pain in the neck to TRD's remaining members.
Yeah, it looks like he's not just going to be playing passive, but the circle is now going to be coming in. They have to use this car to be able to get away.
Good smoke.
But they don't have that much health.
Oh boy, Blue's coming in. This is going to be dangerous. Some spraying's coming out. They're going to just take a drive and hope they don't get blown to smithereens all along the way.
Doesn't look so good for them because they're going to be pushing straight into UN.
Okay, Zero's going to get knocked out of that one, and Hackshot as well, so TRD could be in very big danger going out very early, even Hixu getting dropped on that one. Want to check back in to see what happens. Hackshot getting taken out, Hixu getting finished off, and it's just cleaning up the TRD members. I don't know if any of them survived that. No, with Kevin knocked, that's going to be them wiped out in 11th.
Wow. That is insane. On the first day here, seems like they're not going to be at the top of the leaderboard, and MEA going to get knocked out as well.
Yeah, no, excuse me, that was the 11th place team. TRD go out in 12th. MEA, we hadn't even talked about them today, but they moved their way back to the finals after having to recover from losing a lot of their points. Finally, Thanos will drop. That means a 10th place finish there for SMP, but he definitely did his team proud, lasting a few places longer.
Yeah, that was really good from them, and UN are going to be able to rotate in the vehicle that they stole from the dead bodies of TRD.
That's just brutal, man. Pay the iron price for it. All right, so UN going to be meeting up with IQM, who we haven't seen much of. Master does die outside of the zone, but I think that was just getting separated a lot earlier from the UN side.
Yeah, we do see a couple of shots coming out here, but UN have to do a lot of recovery here. So they're down to 3 players, but they managed to wipe a team, and they're going to be able to recover in one of the last few buildings, I think, in here. Oh, wait, no, they're not even in this next circle.
7T survived the Nox siege, and now AXT are staring them down. But this is a much more even fight because it's 3-on-3.
How even will it be when the rotations come in, though? Because I don't think 7T have any vehicles. So they're going to have to depend on them actually being able to take out AXT, because AXT have to come over towards them to be able to get inside the circle. They can't go up behind them without facing the blue, and I don't think they want to sacrifice the meds to do that. So we should probably see them potentially fight off against them, although I'm not sure what Clown is doing there.
Yeah, not entirely certain. Now, we will be taking an eye at SWAT 69, who've had a relatively quiet round. They're not too far away from a supply drop at the Grozen side. I wonder if they dare to go for it, as Nox making a run for the circle.
Yeah, it's good to see that Nox didn't actually go full on tunnel vision and try to take out 7T to the detriment of their actual game plan. They walked away with all 4 members. They were just like, okay, cool. 7T aren't going to come, but they are going to go engage. And MBZ.
Whoa, MBZ just getting absolutely lit up right there. Now, they do trade back onto Galiko, so there's a couple of Nox traded, 1 for 2, and Nox actually come off worse.
Oh.
MBZ do lose 1. That's boom. And they, hopefully that's a smoke, yeah. Cool. I was worried for a second.
There are going to be shots coming in onto these teams from different teams. So it's a little bit unfortunate for them that they're going to have to play at different angles, but the Molotov going out, but onto them!
No, Ben! You hate to see it. They completely miss.
Oh,
Good thing they had the smoke down, but that feels bad.
Yeah, unfortunately the smoke doesn't put it out, so we might have seen a player drop that no, so Dr. Luce is going to be able to stay alive for now.
Yeah, and I can't say the same here for some of the IQM members. They're locked in Mortal Kombat with UN. Meanwhile, the shots keep on coming between SWAT 69 and SNT. Maurice gets the down onto Clown. And that's how AXT starting to fight this one out. Nox as well. Both these squads faced each other across the way.
That was a big left through on the bottom right there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to fire it. Oh my goodness, MBZ in a heap and helping in trouble as they tried to bail out of that fight. Nox said, no, you do not. We still have 9 teams up, but I don't know for how much longer as Kevlos gets dropped by Maurice.
It's a little bit interesting. The fight here between 69 SWAT and SNT shouldn't really last for too much longer. I would have thought that they would have actually been able to get kills there. A couple of nades going to go out.
You would think. But it looks like this one favors SNT right now with the 4-on-3 numbers. SWAT 69 trying to hold this larger house. They do have an upstairs to look forward to, so they have a bit better of a shot. Meanwhile, check back in here. Orlu's on Nox. Looking to fire it down on the last remaining MBZ member. It looks like he does drop. So that's going to be Los Kev, and that means MBZ out in 9th place.
And Rotel's going to be last member left alive on AXT.
Running for it.
Yeah, he actually needs to be careful here because he's pushing it up against Nox.
Oh, Nox, they just say, that's easy. Nowhere for you to go. Rodel, he's going to have to find the limited amount of cover he can in the sights of Ben. Gets back down, looking to crawl here, but I think he might be out of luck.
I think he might be able to crawl in a fairly decent distance there, but Morsey is going to be pushing up against him.
Rodel, hoping his luck will hold, but that's going to be it. It's actually Ray that finishes him off, the clutch player from SWAT 69.
He downs him, but then it's actually 7T who steals the kill from him, so that's an interesting situation that ends up unfolding, and Galacco goes down.
Yeah, that's not good there for Nox. He's a pretty big clutch player for them. However, he's still close enough for Nox to be able to get the res off. Orluz is going to throw down the smoke. Ben should be there for the res up. And now we see Fazza on 7T. His 2 team members are a little bit further away here, but 7T are still in this. And the fact that TRD went out so early means that there's definitely a chance here. SWAT 69 unloading onto SNT. They actually win that fight, it looks like, big time. And they take him out. That means it's a 7th place finish there.
That's actually not too bad for them. I'm not sure how many kills they got. We'll have to see, but look how close UN is to 7T. Do they realize how close they are to each other?
I'm not entirely sure here. And that's just bone number 2. I think he might be the last one standing for UN. Reef, he takes down Morsey. Meanwhile, LTK, there's a lot of third parties happening here. They do turn around. LTK going to start losing a few members, but Red Bull getting the kill onto Galiko. Morsey as well dropping, and I think this might be it right now. That looks like the elimination there onto Nox.
Yeah, so it's actually UN that went out in that situation because it was actually, I think, Ray who took the final kill.
They're down to 2. Oh boy. This is getting real tense right now, Tom. 15 players up. We're seeing the 7T point of view here.
they're having to push pretty much through nothing here. They need to take down the Nox players so they can actually carry on rotating.
Mr. 4041 looking at the shots onto Nox. Fazad moving around the side. There's still 3 remaining members of 70. Orlu's getting dropped down by Red Bull. Ben's still there. How many smokes does Nox have, man?
Probably not many more, but they have actually just looted a couple of bodies. Now 70 are going to be using this as an opportunity. And they're actually on opposite sides of the circle almost. They've got opposites, but really good distance.
Big cover fire there laid down by Fazad, trying to find as much as he possibly can. He does get a knockdown onto Ray. That's pretty huge. SWAT 6-9. They're going to need to get him back on his feet, but I think Fazad's not going to try and let him do that here, as he just needs to breach into the house. He tries to get down some of the members here of SWAT 6-9, moves in, the smoke, 17, they should be able to finish off Ray inside this one, and that's going to be a 3-on-3 between these two teams, but they're going to keep moving right now. The blue's coming. Rosa out in the open, going to get dropped down. Fazad, he gets dropped as well.
I don't know that. Oh,
you got to be kidding me.
70 go out in 5th position. That is insane.
This is a wide open game 1 right now, and all of a sudden, Reef even dies to the play zone. IQM still in this in the final 4 teams. 10 players still alive. IQM down to 2. LTK looking the healthiest. They have a very real chance to take this round here, and Tomb is going to get dropped down.
Well, we know what IQM are like. All they need is one member who can be a bit of a clutch, and unluckily for Nox, it seems like they are going to be down to 1 person now, and that's going to be Ben, who's left alive. They've only got 3 kills, but they could go out in 4th
Ben's
position.
been a big clutch player too, though. Remember, we saw on an Erangel map, we had that military circle where it came down to 1v1v1, and it was Ben that pulled out the clutch.
Yeah, it was really well played by them, but you know what? LTK in a decent position right here.
There goes Ben, down to 3.
Team's going to have to push over towards LTK. LTK may be able to get this circle once again, thanks to positioning. IQM trying to stay alive here.
Yeah, so we got IQM, we got LTK, and we got SWAT 69, and that's it. It's a 3-on-3-on-1. But LTK in the best position of everyone, and this is a great start for this team that we wanted to see more consistency out of. SWAT 69 are moving. Mustafa's just going to stay right where he is. LTK manages to get ZBRT down.
I'm not sure what he was hoping to achieve here.
Boha just trying to make the plays, and Mustafa's unloading onto him right now. That's going to be the elimination, and it's just a 4-on-1. IQM looking like they may very well go out in 2nd place here, as Slom has got his sights trained.
So close here. So this is going to be a 1 versus 4 situation. 1 member is down on Evil.
Oh, so many chances. It was looking like he might have been able to take a couple out with him, but at the end of the day, it goes to LTK. And how about that for a turn of events here on Vikendi?
I mean, we were talking about how they managed to get one of their first games on Vikendi. They come through and they get the first Vikendi game, first match of the semifinals in a huge score up here. I mean, I have to give them props. 10 kills in the first game and 1st place. That's good 40 points.
I mean, it's definitely not a bad way to start. I mean, they weren't shy of taking early gunfights, which is surprising that they made it all the way to the end. They lost 1 player early on, it seemed. But Red Bull, man, that guy definitely stepping up big in the carry. I can't wait to see, a little bit further into the tournament how well he's going to be able to perform. We kind of pinpointed him as one of the standout players.
Yep.
But it did seem like even though they made a swap in with one of their substitutes, it really didn't bite them too badly.
No, and I mean, it really comes down to the fact that we highlighted Red Bull and 9-9 being sort of the best players, in my opinion, as well as Moram as well. And Slom, he was a little bit of a shaky player. I don't think either one of us were too keen on him. But you know what? Let's have a look at the highlights to see if LTK do show up in these.
I certainly would be surprised if they didn't, but here's how it all began. There were a couple of fights and hot drops early. Rush to Crush looked like they might be clutching it, but 70 had other ideas, started to turn it around. And yet again, we see Rush to Crush. They dropped out in 16th place, and you hate to see it for this team. But one thing you don't hate to see is SMP having a bit of a dance party, channeling their inner light pirates for sure. They lasted all the way to 10th place, but we'll get back into that later. Here is LTK lighting up roll on from IK, Evil moving around the side, and it just looked too easy. These guys just move so fast. Even Seif around the side, they tried to take on the TRD members, and for a minute, it actually looked pretty solid for SMP.
Yeah, I thought they were actually going to be able to return that, but unfortunately they did get third-partied. But you know what? AXT coming in here, trying to do a good job. They do eventually get one of them knocked. That's going to be Lord, but they return the fire, knock out HeadHunterrs, and now we switch on over towards TRD, and one of their last fights against UN. They tried to rotate away, and this is the unfortunate situation that happened to them.
The car goes without them at that point. You just start getting knocked away. It was a desperate move here. And then Nox coming up huge onto the MBZ members. They eliminate one. They do get double knocked themselves, but they get back up, go in for round 2, and all of a sudden they face down against AXT and come out ahead.
Yeah, Clown going to go down eventually. Rotar's trying to stay alive here, and he ends up getting shot by Ray and then stolen by another player. It was a bit of an interesting situation. I'm not sure how it came through. 70 do end up getting some shots onto Noxie as well.
It was a great move. I like the rotation by Fazza. Unfortunately, when they came back together, it didn't look quite so good as SWAT69 did it. Mustafa lighting up a few more members, guaranteeing himself the second place. And there you see it from Slom's point of view. That's how they take it. And look at the kill leaderboard. Groza, we didn't even mention him, but the SWAT69 player takes the top spot with 8 kills to his name.
Just so brilliant coming out from those guys, because they faced right up against SNT as well. I'm not sure who those unknown players are on the right-hand side. We'll have to find out later on. But
player unknown. They're all player unknown.
Triple of him inside the game. He's got his triplets in here. But you know what? Yeah, 8 kills. That's fantastic play. LTK, got to give them props as well. Red Bull coming in with 6 kills, but 70 up there as well, 5 kills.
Yeah, that's Mr. 4041. He did a great job.
Yeah, he clutched that first off. It wasn't for them. They would have gone out in 16th place. But instead, they managed to return the favor onto Rush to Crush, who tried to rush a little bit too hard and it ended up getting crushed.
Yeah, I think, there you go. Hey. I think that 7T actually came out very, very well, considering they were the second place team in groups and had a really bad last day. Now let's compare a couple of squads here to SWAT69 and Live to Kill. 19 kills to 10. Between these two teams, they had darn near half the map.
And you know what? SWAT69 coming in, almost beating their previous record of 20 kills. The only team that's actually gone above, I think, 17 or 18 kills is SWAT69. They do it again.
For sure, yeah. Not a lot of other regions in the PUBG Mobile Club Open have been able to do it.
Yeah, I think 23 is the total record across all regions within what we're covering within this competition.
The points on this are so close, man. Given the difference in kills and the placement, let's take a look at the breakdown of the very specifics, though. Moha definitely stands out huge here for SWAT69 with 5 kills and almost double the damage of Slom.
Yeah, like we said, Slom wasn't really a standout player for either one of us, and they actually do
travel. He did have the final kill, though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he managed to get in there at the end. It was like, hey, I managed to do this. And he did do quite a bit of damage in regards to, compared to how many kills he got. So it does prove that he was doing damage, but he just wasn't quite finishing there. So even if he's just playing an assist role, that's still really well for him. But you know what? Ray, one of our standout players, does get a lot of kills, and he also gets 800 damage, a couple of headshots, compared to that of
Mojrim, yeah.
Mojrim as well.
Mojrim did okay, but definitely not standout amongst his team this time around. And, you know, we always talk about this as a team that can definitely swap a couple of players in and out. We were thinking that they might do that with one of them this time around. We didn't see 9-9, and that I think was a bit surprising. But what we did see was Red Bull coming in huge, and if not for the fact that Groza was the top kill scorer, his numbers would be even more impressive.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have a look at Groza's kill to death ratio, that's not even 100 damage average per kill, so I have to question that. And then we also have these two players who weren't actually playing today, but nonetheless.
Yeah, those are our fists, of course, for both the squads. But we might see them subbed in. Of course, the players can do it again. And it looks like we are watching. Oh, no, we were watching highlights for just a second, but we're not anymore. You don't get 2 of them. Don't get greedy, guys.
Don't be greedy, you know, as the British say. Nice British accent.
Is that how they say it?
Some people, depends.
I thought I went back into Oliver Twist or something for a second.
Exactly.
I haven't read that book for 10 years.
Please, sir. I have some more.
Well, we are going to get more PUBG Mobile coming up after this.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what happens in that one, because today we didn't really see any TRD versus 70 in this game, rather. So I want to see that next one. Guys, if you're listening, if you're watching, you shouldn't be watching, but if you are...
That would explain a few things for TRD. I mean, that was a very distracted last fight. I want to see more from them. We have such high expectations, though, I think. It's worth noting. They go out in the 12th place position. That's obviously horrible for TRD, but this team was by far the best team in the group stages. And if you missed any of that information, of course, you want to get a little bit more and see how the teams performed, don't forget, you can always check out our website. You know where that is, Tom?
I don't actually remember. I think it should be coming down.
It's right below you on the screen. It is at clubopen.pubgmobile.com. We're a little bit premature, apparently, but it will be coming up. There it is! So go ahead and go there for all of the information on the tournament, as well as the up-to-date scoreboard for the semifinal stage. And, you know, in addition, if you want to catch the highlights and maybe a VOD or two, you can go ahead and head over to youtube.com/PUBGMOBILE Don't forget to smack that subscription button. And, of course, as Tom likes to say,
ding dong that notification bell.
I just love the way he says it, man. So you don't miss a single minute of the PUBG Mobile action. And honestly, it's been a great start here for this semifinals in the ME region. The teams are stepping it up, and it's stiffer competition. No longer, at this moment, do we have this completely all-out TRD dominating it, 7T still being challenged. I can't wait for the next couple of maps. Don't you guys go anywhere. Sanhok is coming up next, but we will be right back after a short break.
PUBG Mobile for free.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
On different teams as well. They're standing right next to each other because there was a sick gameplay. Oh, whoa, we got cars! Mustafa, his car's on fire right now as they chase him down. UN.
That'd be a huge play to be able to do, but you know what? Talking about huge plays, AXT.
How do you hit that truck?
All the way up there, but let's return to the dance with Pyro.
They're still going.
Absolutely.
Right on through. I feel we're even seeing that. Guys, please. What are you doing?
They're patting each other. Luckily, fan-friendly fire is off in the rules.
Yeah, we don't talk about it for sure. We don't talk about this either. Sorry, what the heck are SWAT 69 doing? They've got cars on the roof. This game's gone off the rail. Yeah, okay, never mind.
Stop.
This is how you don't drive. Wait a minute. They got back on the wheels? You kidding me? Remember, looking for 3 chicken dinners right now. It looks like SMP are going to start by taking down a couple of members of MBZ. 963 out in 8.
Bad for them. That's definitely good. AM will be facing off with Codex that starts to the way in the open.
What can you do at this point? Finding himself, I mean, he's got a little bit of cover. He's behind the tower. The team can take each other out. And by the way, here it is.
You can do what happened last time to US.
Everybody to the PUBG Mobile Club Open. Of course, this is the semifinals for the ME region, and you just saw some fun, some fails, and some fun fails across the board. They always seem to involve vehicles flipping at obnoxious angles, Tom.
Yeah, I'm a little bit sad we didn't see the one from 46 Loot, if I remember correctly. It was from them. Oh, no, sorry, 963, when they used the buggy.
When they did the Dukes of Hazzard thing, and they jumped up all the way across, and then they got, landed 2 on the roof, and then tried to kill a team, and then just got eliminated. That was, I mean, I love 963. Those guys are insane.
The underdogs who actually proved themselves a little bit. They got quite high up on that.
They made it into 24th position. They were the last team to qualify. We'll actually see them tomorrow when Group C plays.
Interesting to see how they actually perform that. And they'll be playing alongside 46 Loot as well. So see how they compare. But
these are kill leaders from last match. I guess we didn't want to show that because we're going to only wipe away from it very quickly. But in case you were wondering what happened last time, maybe if you're just tuning in now and you have eagle eyes, you were able to see that there were some pretty impressive kill leaders. But Red Bull from LTK was the one that stood out to me.
Red Bull and Groza. I mean, Red Bull obviously got, 6 kills, and then Groza managed to pick up 8 kills. But damage-wise, I'm fairly certain Red Bull actually got a higher damage ratio.
You got a couple kills stolen away from him, right? Yeah. Like, it's not really fair. The kills don't always go your way. And those are worth a point in the tournament each, so it is important to actually pick up the kills, not just getting the downs.
Always finish what you start and always double tap.
I learned that one from Zombieland.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Speaking of that, zombie mode does look like a lot of fun.
Oh,
I actually haven't played on it, but I love Resident Evil, so I'm like, oh, this is great. I wonder if you can play as Mr. X, though.
I wonder if you can. But, well, I mean, there's lots of skins, and we see them all the time in this. Like,
that's one of my favorite things about PUBG Mobile versus desktop PUBG, by the way, is just the sheer variety of the crazy skins and things you can actually get for the game. A little bit more customization, showing off your personality.
Yeah, I mean, there's car skins, which is absolutely insane and awesome. The fact that you can sort of customize your cars around you.
Imagine some of those fun fail moments with crazy car skins.
Yeah, exactly. There was like a really smart sort of Bentley or something instead of a Dacia, I think, earlier on in that game.
Look, some people just have a different sense of style, man, so we cater to everyone, and that's the great thing about PUBG Mobile.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, and you can play on your mobile anywhere.
True.
And
anywhere you have cell connection, that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So most places, you know, it's 2019. You get just about everywhere for sure. But yeah, we saw some really impressive performances in this last game. I really do want to highlight not just the likes of LTK, who ended up taking it, IQM, who again pulled off the woe is me, my teammates are all gone. What do I do? This time it was Mustafa. He's like, guys, this is my turn. Wolf, Tomb, don't worry, I got your backs. I'm gonna just kind of shimmy up, crawl behind a tree, and he even managed to help take out some of the third place team members and get himself into a guaranteed second.
Yeah, he managed to get a couple of kills there at the end, so it was actually fairly decent. And this is kind of just a consistent thing we see from those guys. It's very sort of reminiscent of what a 7T play like, but 7Ts tend to play as a team a lot better. Let's have a look at the current total overall standings. It's going to be LTK at the top with 40 points, but
SWAT
69 at their heels with 38 points.
That is so close.
19 kills. That is just insane on that front. And then IQM, I think this is probably the highest we've seen them in a long time, into third place. But this is only one match. You have to keep that in mind.
Just
and they
Vikendi.
only got one kill that game.
Yeah, and that's what it was. I think that was Mustafa that actually got it because, again, this is very typical for IQM. They lose a lot of their members in a big fight, but one of them has enough sense to get away and then just clutch it out based on positioning. That's why they get that third place position with a 22 for placement. And then 7 Reef come in. They pick up 8 frags and a 14-point finish for placement. Nox come in just after them with 19 altogether in 5th place. And then we see UN, AXT, and S&T rounding out the top 8. Not a bad start. I think the biggest surprise is who's not here, and that's TRD.
Yeah, really insane. I mean, the reason why they're not here is because UN are here, because UN actually managed to get into the position to actually kill the rest of TRD as they're trying to rotate in one vehicle.
They're already weakened from Snap Fight, yeah.
Well, and also from they got shot from behind from Thanos, and they were currently engaged in UN, and that punished them. But you know what? MBZ, they do deserve this position. They did some interesting plays. They didn't get any kills, but they did a bit of damage. SMP, I'm surprised they didn't get any kills out of those fights.
Yeah, it felt a bit more like day 1, day 2 MBZ Falcons because we saw them playing a little bit more like PvE, just kind of trekking across the environment. Yeah. And I think it's not that they don't want to fight anyone, it's that they get really unlucky with where they choose to drop because they drop far and hope, maybe there's a 50-50, the circle favors us. And then when it doesn't, they're like, all right, pack it in the cars, boys, we're going on a road trip. And then they don't encounter anyone until the very end.
Yeah, and I mean, in this one, they tried driving across and away from Nox, but unfortunately, Nox were not having it.
Nox chased them down.
Wiped them out, and that was easy peasy for them. And then we have TRD in 11th place. Like, come on. They get 1 kill, and that was on the SNP. They didn't even kill all the members of SMP.
That was actually insane. But they still get 5 points for placement. I'm not too worried about this unless it becomes a trend because TRD did have some negatives on the final day of play. But I think that we won't see too many more of those. Now we do look, this is the teams that haven't played yet. This is Group C. We've mentioned Light Pirates. We've mentioned the likes of 46 Loot. We'll talk about the rest of these guys really more in tomorrow. But is there anybody out of this group of 8 players that you're especially looking forward to watch, Tom?
I'm excited to see how Kurd Squad do. I do know they're pretty much one of the most dominant fan favorites coming out.
They're the top Iraqi team, and this is a stacked tournament for teams and players coming out of Iraq. We actually ran down the number of players involved in this region still in the semifinals. Far and away, the most represent Iraq. 36 different players.
Yeah, I was going to say 36 different Iraqi members.
That's more than double the next most represented country, which is Saudi Arabia, with 16. So, there's a lot of Iraqi players, and to be the best of them, Kurd Squad, definitely step it up. And they've got the love of the fans, too, and I think that's important.
Yeah, as always, the spam in chat, the KS Heart.
Yeah, KS Heart every time. Send us your best KS Hearts.
Also, draw something and show us as well.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Follow us on Twitter.
Reach out on the social media. Send us a picture with everything. I heart whatever team you like. And of course, also if you are a fan or maybe even one of the players, so you shouldn't be watching if you are one of the players, because you've got a game to play. But if you are, definitely get in touch. Send us some information on the teams that you're cheering for because we'd love to hear the stories more about these teams as we see them evolve, talk a little bit more in depth about them.
Yeah, and obviously this is being streamed to Facebook and YouTube. YouTube is the main one we're trying to actually push everyone towards, but I did check out Facebook. Lots of fans on there of even the Dancing Pirates LP.
Yeah, we saw a lot of LPI spam, which was really cool. I think they picked up a lot of fans just with their antics. I think SMP might be challenging them for the dance-off, though.
I mean,
this is starting to look like the end of Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mean, you've got to get your fans somehow, and if it's dancing, then why not? I mean,
we saw Codex doing it when he knew he was the last man standing. Now, I don't know if Thanos danced. See, that's the problem. Is Thanos doesn't seem like a dancey kind of guy. He's a little too serious, a little bit more focused on death. But we are into Sanhok. This is map number 2 for today. Is that your best Thanos?
No, I don't even remember what he sounds like.
He sounds like Josh Brolin.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. But you know what? Let's have a look at this map. It's going to be a Sanhok. Let's see who is going to get snapped out of this one. And speaking of Snap, where are they? I can't quite see them at
Looks
the
like they're
moment.
falling. It's Team 18. They're going to be going way to the east here for Kampong.
Yeah.
Now, this is an interesting one. Whoa, L&D just flying out of nowhere. That's crazy. And we see, it looks like LTK dropping further to the south. This is a decent split of teams. Nobody going over to Camp Alpha. Of course, it is very isolated comparatively.
There's actually a lot of people going over towards the Place Where Master, so that's going to be LTK 69 and also UN going over towards. Interesting, 7 Reef T though are going to be landing in Pan 9. That's a pretty good location, and this circle is going to be rather spicy. More likely to sort of land over towards Paradise or maybe even near Pan as well. Depends on how many hard shifts there are in here. Or if it really wants to be a little bit spicy, you could try and land over towards that westernmost island where there's only IQM.
It looks like the drops are already starting, and poor IK finds themselves facing down the members of Class. Now, Orlu's actually getting pretty low here, so Kramik comes up with the knock early on.
That's really what you want to be seeing from your teammates, helping you out in your moment of need. Hopefully IK can actually perform a little bit here as well and get the help from their team members. And Nox, we talked about them before, and they're really good at breaching. They're also good at being able to decide when it's worth taking fights and when it's not. Unfortunately, they may not be given the decision to choose this time.
Yeah. IK, another one of those teams representing Iraq. They are actually a full Iraqi squad, and you know, they've had a lot of ups and downs. Unfortunately, it has been mostly downs, but we've seen some stand-up performances. This is a team that seems to have a lot of potential in them, and I'd like to see them level it up. It's just unfortunate they're facing down Nox in their first fight. Yeah,
it's both unfortunate. Landon for TRD, they have landed right next to boot camp. They're going to be looting up these warehouses and trying to back away from that fight, it seems. And maybe Nox should consider backing away as well, as another one's going to get knocked.
Yeah, this is actually a good start for IK. They get Ben down early on, just finding the better positioning, and they've split across the way as well. So they should have all 4 members still up and available. Yeah, nobody's died this game.
One thing they are doing is they're getting tunnel vision. And that's something we don't want to be seeing. I mean, Nox are currently trying to back away from this because they do realize it's not actually worth them getting dented this early on, especially as there's actually other teams around them. And they should take that into consideration. They still have to loot. They've not really probably done this. There's a couple of them with helmets and guns, but they need to make sure they're not going to get stuck behind in regards to looting.
They're a very tactical team. Like we always talk about Nox, this is a team that thinks about exactly what they're doing. Now, I do want to point out Hoger's kind of waiting and seeing if he can find a shot from the rooftop. I don't believe he was playing last round for IK, so it looks like they've subbed him in.
Yeah, and he's actually performed fairly well in the past, if I remember correctly. He's been a good substitute for them.
Yeah, I think it's Barrow that's not in. Yeah, so they have subbed in Hoger. We'll see if he does a little bit better here. He should have some sights on, but Nox have ceded the position for now, or at least they've gone to the edge of it.
Yeah, I mean, the smart thing would just be to give this away. They are inside the circle, pretty much quite close to the sort of center on this front, so they've got quite a sort of way to go. We are going to take a look at these guys who are going to be inside that circle. Not inside the circle, actually. They're in... where was it? It was boot camp right next to TRD. Then we have Russia Crush, who don't have anyone challenge them at the moment in this different boot camp. I think it's probably boot camp Charlie, from right saying. And then we go back over towards Nox. They are going to be going away.
Oh, they've got some boats. Morrissey says, wait for me, guys. He's swimming to the boat.
This is actually really dangerous because as soon as they started that motor, it gives away what they're doing to their enemies. And then look at them. They're stopping them from getting in.
Wow, some teammates. Morrissey's like, guys, stop messing around. At least they're having a little bit of fun here, but they've got to be careful now as they're under heavy fire from the IK side. Orluz and Ben. They're just backing it up. Oh, no. They're just hopping out.
Oh, no. This could actually spell the end of Nox.
That was not what I expected to see. Trying to make a getaway boat ride, and IK smelling blood literally in the water.
They were reversing to try and get away here. I'm not quite sure what they thought they were going to achieve there, but getting away was not going to be one of them. So they're going to have to try and smarten up here before they end up dying. And it seems like IK are going to be trying to do their best to be able to try and recover from this.
Yeah, there's really nowhere to go over across the bay from Cow, and it looks like they're just going to have to swim right back up to the shore. But IK are tailing them.
Yeah, so they have actually managed to make it to a compound. So this might give them an opportunity to recover, but they're not really in the best of situations. IK, though, might be making the better decision not to full-on go into this.
All right, some silliness going on there, but we'll take a look at where the rest of the teams are located right now. We've got TRD, who we are looking to see more from here on the Sanhok map, and in their sights is AXT, Lord on the front line here. They got to be careful, though. There's a lot of cover, but apart from this one rock outcrop, you got to start moving into compounds if you want the hard stuff. It's mostly soft cover right now.
Yeah, and I think these guys are aware of each other.
Ooh, Groza for Headhunters.
the BAP. The BAP. Man, get it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Talk about bapping.
Hold on a second. We've got ourselves a fight here, and it's TRD. Man, they were angry from last round, already unloading heavy fire onto two of the AXT members. It's Clown and Lord knocked already.
Let's take a little bit of a guessing game. Where do you think the TRD are going to play this game? This game?
You know what? I'm going to give them like a 4th, 5th finish. The way they're playing right now, I think they might be a little bit reckless. They might lose a member or two. We'll see. Rodel trying to light him up here, but while he gets the knock onto 0, AXT lose everybody, and that's going to be a drop down to 16th place.
I think they might get 3rd place with maybe 16 kills.
Ooh, that is a very specific number.
What
makes you say so?
Got to be confident, and I think they're going to be able to get the frags. And I think what you said about them being reckless is going to come into it. I think they're going to get 16th place, but only with 1 or 2 members remaining into that spot, and then they're not able to clutch it out.
Yeah.
Because as we know about TRD, they play as a team, and that's their strength.
Very true. Now, we did call them out last time, and I think to be fair, they got heavily third-partied. There were a lot of teams coming in to pile on them, and I don't think, even if you're the strongest team in the tournament, it's not easy to do that, to fight against that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's asking for a lot, and I think at this point in time, in the sort of mobile sort of community, we're still waiting for teams to develop beyond that point, but you can see the circle is going to be closing in. Where is it going to land, though? That's going to be the real question. HeadHunterr's still going to be fairly decent here. UN actually trying to get up. They're spread out all across the way. Circle will be closing down momentarily. These guys jumping out of vehicles. Remember, friendly fire is not on the mobile, so you don't have to worry about it. And the circle, okay.
Wow.
This actually opens up for that Western circle I talked
look
about.
at where IQM are over by Hot Tin. I was going to say 7 Reef Team actually abandoned their post at Pinon before the next circle showed, so they must have figured this is not likely to be where it's going to be, and even if it is, there's heaps of teams coming in from the south, so everybody will start congregating. But as you mentioned, it's another spicy one. There's a lot of water in that circle.
Yeah, and IQM have only got 1 person on the western side.
Where's the rest of them?
They're on the eastern side.
So this is what they're doing. They split dropped again.
I think it's probably one player was AFK, and they decided to just let him go wherever he went. And luckily, he was the only one on that whole island.
And so it might be another long placement clutch there for IQM. I think it's the same guy. I think it's Mustafa.
I think it is indeed. That's so interesting. LDK, though, going to be trying to run through the blue here. And
Reef, drop down. That's a little bit of trouble here. As SWAT 6-9 find him. And they're going to be taking some fire here. Mr. 4041, he's getting dropped down. Fazza is going to put his scope on, but it's Reef already dead, and he's the clutch member of 7T.
That's not good news. He is by far their best member in regards to clutches, as we just sort of mentioned. They also have another member downed, but the time is on their side. They're inside the circle, and they can pick him up, but they do have another team that will be coming up behind them not too far away. If I'm right in saying it should be 6-9 SWAT. If I remember correctly, he will be coming up behind them soon enough. But
yeah, S&T, that's what we call him now.
Yeah, S&T. They can actually pick each other up. The same can be said for these guys. Captain is going to be healing up, even if he has taken a bit of damage.
So S&T were one of those teams that ended up placing out just about in the middle of the pack last time around. 7th place finish for them. But they got the jump on 7T right now, so they have to be playing with a bit of confidence as they have a great position on boot camp. Not the high ground, but a very solid low ground.
Yeah, so just to correct myself on that, SWAT 6-9, sorry, are going to be coming up on the other side of the hill to them, behind them.
Oh boy.
If I remember correctly from what we saw in the overview. Maybe we'll see momentarily, but let's have a look at TRD. They're still alive, and they've got a compound.
HeadHunterr is coming in, but they had best avoid this. One thing that we know about TRD is a straight 4v4 does not favor any of their opponents. Off screen, looks like IQM with that split strategy, they lose out a little bit to some of the Nox members.
Yeah, but you know what? Even if 3 members do go down on the eastern side of the map, they've still got 1 on the western side of the map.
They've got Mustafa. That's fine. I mean, this is just IQM strategies, I feel like. They're just like, all right, 3 of us are going to get as many kills as we possibly can, and you just sit as far away from the action as possible and guarantee us a 2nd place.
And you know what? It's a legit strategy.
Oh,
so
Wolf actually gets Morsey down and kills him.
That's a good point. They return fire, and they get the kills. There is a package here right next to the HeadHunterrs, and this would be the 2nd package.
2nd Groza as well.
Yeah, so they would have 2 full level 3s.
They would be so
2
looted up
Grozas.
right now.
That'd be pretty sick. And you know what? They've not been the best at breaching. This would actually help them because Grozas are probably one of the best weapons up close to be using because they've got high firepower and also high fire rate as well.
That might help them turn the tables a little bit on the likes of TRD, and that would be a really big deal if they were to knock out TRD in the low ranks again. Checking in with this standoff, 7T have decided to hang tight in the trees just outside of boot camp. Nox, meanwhile, have found their way to a solid compound on the edge of the circle.
We actually see Purge, one of the members we were a little bit questioning because he is their sub, and he's actually playing at the moment. That's good.
Fire being opened up, though, and it is the MEA that are under heavy shots from the TRD side. HeadHunterr's also starting to lose a few, and TRD are just taking no prisoners today.
Like I said, I think they're going to be able to smash it out here.
LND. Third party. LND are coming in.
TRD are going to be happy with this.
All right, smoke's down for Falastine. He's going to be able to get up one of his teammates. MEA, one of those teams we talked about, not in today's matches, but over the course of the tournament. They had a bit of a rough ride, stacking a lot of points. Unfortunately, a ruling was issued against them for using an unapproved device, and they had to climb back in on the final day, and they did. Honestly, really impressive performance for them, so we are expecting great things.
Yeah, and hopefully we can see them adapt to this next circle, because they're not going to be in the best of positions. They're going to be outside the sort of ideal situation. They're inside the circle, but they are going to get pushed on, and we're actually going to see one of the teams wipe there. It's a bit unfortunate for HeadHunterr.
HeadHunterr, yeah. Once again, they get knocked out, but unfortunately caught in the crossfire. Not a lot they could really do about that. MEA still up here. LND looking to come in. Now, LND, remember, they went out in 15th place, so they can only go better from there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, HeadHunterr did go out in 15th place. MEA in danger of going out in 14th place.
Yeah, it's rough right now. Even UN's getting involved in this while the 7T side are coming in. This is a different side of the map, though. And Bastard!
Oh.
He thought he had the scope, but he gets taken out by Mr. 4041.
That was unfortunate. Luckily for them, they were checking their backsides. Otherwise, they might have been slammed by Master. That would have been a bit unfortunate. We're going to be seeing some shots coming in, I think, over towards MEA.
It's Falastine and Guns, though. They're kind of in a bad spot. You could say between a rock and a hard place. I guess the rock's between them and the hard place.
Yeah, LND currently trying to take shots down on towards TRD and also onto MEA. So they have got the high ground, and they're also closer into the center of the circle. But TRD have got the hard cover, and they can back away from this fight if they do want to.
I feel like it's always a hard situation when you have these multiple third parties being out in these situations, like super far out. It always favors the team that is got the compound, even if you take the nameplates off. But the fact that that's TRD, I don't know how much hope I have for a lot of these squads, Tom.
Yeah, I think if they get a couple of lucky nades or good nades into this, it could be quite useful for them. They are using smokes to cover up a couple of windows, which is a smart play from them, as LND look to approach the compound here.
Yeah, LND trying to start breaching. Oh, Zero looks to light him up there, but it's Faker going. Now, he is LND's clutch player himself, and he's going to be taking point duty.
Zero playing very dangerously here.
Faker opens up. Needle getting dropped down from Kevin on the opposite side. Here's the nade.
We talked about those god nades. It might just be coming out. Zero
tries to get into the house here. Kevin is going to be backing away here. Zero does get dropped down by Faker. However, Faker is playing a very dangerous game. Look at that health bar.
So low. Needle has been picked up, though.
You can see a fight going off the opposite way. It looks like it's SWAT 69 facing off against 7T and a couple of other players from the SMP side. But we don't have time to talk about that right now because Faker is looking to light him up here. Looking for more of those god nades. Just trying to thread the needle. Not able to find it, but at least he's been able to cover. Getting up to the side of the compound, and we've got breach play.
I think Faker has been spotted, but they are going to be healing up, and it's going to be Faker knocking down Hackshot.
Great job, though, from LND. This is not an easy breach to pull off. There are a lot of other teams kind of putting on cover fire here. Faker will take out Zero, get the finishing job, and he should be able to take out Hackshot as well, which means TRD are just down to 2.
Crossing the road like that was a bad play from Hackshot. He should have just gone to left and waited, but TRD going to be down to 2 members and now going to be getting pushed by LND, and now it's too late to try and fall away.
Man, something about going into the semifinals really just levels up some of the performances, but we can see Faker getting knocked by Hicksue, tried to play the snake in the grass. However, Kevin is still up on his feet, but he is facing heavy odds right now, and if he gets knocked, that is going to be it for TRD in this Sanhok game 2, and it's going to be it. Out in 14th place are TRD.
That is their worst placement so far. So far, they've had a 12th and a 14th placement. That is terrible. I'm so surprised by that. And 7T somehow still staying alive into this situation where there's got one person left alive against LTK.
Oh, man, he's in trouble, though. Trying to make moves onto the cover of the tree, but he misses it. Drop down. That's going to be it. 13th place now for 7T. What is it with these teams? The group stages were totally different than this.
What is going on? I mean, we are obviously seeing a slightly different group, so it's different styles of play coming in, and now we're rushing to crush.
Yeah, well, they really are rushing in right now. L&D did not expect that for a moment, and they get dropped as well. In the ensuing chaos, rush to crush chop L&D in their own home.
You know what? Like, LTK should be really happy right now because LND going out there is brilliant. Now they need IQM to go out, and they can definitely try and maintain their sort of dominance here into this match.
And Nox are in trouble too, so the standings are definitely about to shake up here as IK continue to track this team across the map. Ben, he's going to be put in the grave.
Yeah, one of their better members has now died. Galako is still alive at the moment. Karan and also Kramant still alive at the moment on IK, but I think their last member's alive. IQM still have Mustafa.
Of course they do. And he's just kind of taking a leisurely stroll across the beach. He's got to be careful, though, because MBZ are taking a swim across. He might be seeing them here, and if he could open fire, that's 4 free kills.
Yeah, I mean, he could go grenade fishing here against these guys if they're not careful, or he could just see them and take some shots towards them.
As the blue comes through, all the teams are going to have to be legging it. So there are actually 4 members of IK around. They had just split off for a little while, but got to be careful there as they might meet up with Rush to Crush, who are having a much better game than Game 1.
Definitely. They've actually survived a lot longer as well because they died out in the 16th place last game, and we are going to be seeing a big fight coming out here.
They're in trouble again.
Oh, and MBZ!
Mustafa getting dropped! They made the beach! That's Loskev!
Not before he managed to kill one of them, though, I think. So he managed to pop off one, but ended up dying. And now we're going to be seeing Snap coming under heavy fire from Spot 69.
Sniper and Seif here. Seif's a little bit low, and should be able to get him back up onto his feet, but you got to be careful. That is not a lot of cover there. So, MBZ, they've made their way once again. These guys really do love to travel, and they will be inside the circle. Much better placement so far. Well, they ended up in 9th place last time. Let's take a look at the replay, though, and how that last fight went down with Mustafa sitting behind the rock. Unfortunately, didn't check his 6.
Yeah, going down that early was a little bit unfortunate for them. So we've got 11 teams left alive.
I think IQM still have 1 member, though. We didn't see the team counter drop.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That's true. But MBZ do manage to survive all members. I thought they might have been at least 1 kill.
Purge. Purge is still up.
Yeah, Snap have only got 2 members left alive. Sniper and Thanos. Not Seif, not Thanos. Thanos is dead.
No worries. Thanos is definitely dead for the time being. Now, Sniper. Ooh. Meanwhile, we're seeing UN engaging and knocks off to the side. That'll be in your picture-in-picture there. Rush to Crush trying to get up in the mix, too. IK actually coming up pretty huge, but it's a trade back and forth between him and Kawan.
Yeah, so now starting to push these guys up into the forefront.
Oh, no, Sniper! He's on his knees. Seif is going to be the last man standing here for the Snap Boys.
He's still alive.
He managed to make it into the side, into the shade of this compound here. There's so many people nearby. If you can get the res up, nobody's coming to greet him.
Yeah, I think he might just be able to get this off because, oh no, he stopped reviving. It's now going to take even longer. And you know what?
Nox got knocked out.
Yeah, SWAT 69 are going to be a bit busy, and Nox get knocked out in 11th. That is bad placement for them.
That really is after that last one for sure. Now we're going to see Rush to Crush engaging across the way with the IK side. They get Rawan down. Hoger dies as well. That's going to be it. IK go out in 10th.
Yeah, and that's Rush to Crush really returning to fire. They've currently got 7th place better than they have before. Even if they go out right now, IQM still alive. UN trying to push in.
There's Purge. See if he can take some pot shots. He's going to have to move pretty soon, though, as the Blues approached. Oh, boy.
Thing is, if he takes out that player, that's potentially an extra position.
Looking forward. Tries to get him down. Doesn't quite manage to find the way. It looks like Falcons on the MEA side takes down Bunmir.
That's a pretty good end to that. He does actually get that kill, and that is going to be
Snap.
UN out, and now Snap are going to be out as well. So there's only 7 teams left alive. That's almost 10 teams down so far.
Not true.
Somehow MEA is still alive right now. They were under heavy fire, but they managed to back away from that fight, which is so smart.
This is going to be a boot camp finish, man. It's all about these sides, so it is going to be complete and utter warfare here. Falcons gets 1 knock now on ZBRT. Purge gets taken out. Only 6 teams remaining. IQM are dropped.
And I'm fairly certain pretty much all of them are inside boot camp right now. I think there might be 1 team that isn't.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this does turn out later on. I mean, SWAT 69 are spread out a little bit.
Yeah, let's count them here. We got MEA, we have SWAT 69, we have SNT. Who else is up and alive for the time being?
You know what?
Throwing nades.
You know what? It doesn't matter. Circle's not landed in boot camp. So.
Oh no! It's going southwest.
And it's going to favor the 1 team on the hill. I can't quite see which ones they are right now because it keeps sweeping past them too fast, but we will see momentarily which team are up there. It's going to be LTK, no!
Oh, boy. They're looking for chicken dinner number 2, and look at the high ground right now. You can see they can see everything. MBZ, Rush to Crush, our other boot camp teams. That is looking bad. LTK are in such a good position right now.
Yeah, but IQM and Nox went out. So on the leaderboard, LTK currently are going to be able to dominate first position. They're going to be jumping ahead a lot further than a lot of these teams.
Yeah, all right. And the rest of the teams are going to start fighting out against one another right now. You can already see them dropping either side. MBZ are down to 3 with 1 member knocked down. That's Loskev, the last 2 of them.
Yeah, LTK have to be careful, though, because the Blues are going to be pushing on them, so they have to be making sure they don't dedicate too much.
Script, she's evil.
Script.
Oh, waits for the sights. He doesn't take the shot. There we go. Oh, he just was too late. Evil
way too good for him right now. And Rush to Crush come up behind MBZ and start firing him down. They did not see that one coming. And Rush to Crush, this is the best round we've seen of them since their opening day.
Really good, and that's the reason why Script isn't considered a very good player so far on their team. I will be brutal on that front. He didn't take the shots, cost his team potentially a placement there, but nonetheless.
We're down to 3 teams already.
Rush to Crush pushing in here, and like I said, best game so far, but it might not be good enough. Last member left.
They do not have a lot of positioning, and I think that is going to be all she wrote there. As SWAT 6-9, they comboed up here. Or, excuse me, it's SNT versus LTK for the final.
I don't know how LTK, they've got the circle, they've got the manpower to do this. There's no way that they don't win this in the end. What a fantastic play so far from LTK, knocking out Narcos.
Yeah, Narcos dropped down right now, and this just seems like it would have to be a miracle for SNT to come back into this one. Great circle play from LTK, great positioning, picking up as many kills as they possibly could as well. Only 2 on their team, though, and we'll see if they get more, but Mojram gets dropped down, so there's still chances here.
So there's a big issue here. If they decide to go too aggressive on trying to kill them before the circle comes in, then they may well end up losing this. But if they decide to play a little bit quieter, wait for the push to come out from the members of SNT, they could win this. And now the rotation coming in.
They're loading the cover fire right now. Red Bull's actually going to get dropped here by Mustafa. However, Lashin, he can't make it out of the hail of bullets. And it's going to be all on Mustafa to see if he can 1v4, and he cannot. LTK with a second chicken dinner.
That is insane. I want to see how many kills they got. And it was only 7, but they get another first place. That's going to be another 37 points on top of their 40 beforehand. That is insane. Taking them up onto, what, 78 points in total, if my math is correct.
Yeah, that's huge right now. We'll have to see when it all tallies up. Obviously, Evil comes up pretty clutch that time around. But really, look at the way it ended. It was such a quick, fast game, and honestly, SWAT 69, they had a great play. Excuse me, S&T, they had a great set of plays with Mustafa, Narcos, all of them coming up with a lot of kills. But how about Rush to Crush, man? We haven't seen them play that way since their first Vikendi.
Yeah, they played really well. I mean, considering the fact that we've been waiting for them to actually have some kind of worthwhile play, as soon as I saw them go out in 16th place last time, I was a little bit sad. But they did actually down 3 members of 7 Reef. So I was a little bit on the edge. I was like, okay, what's going to happen?
It was a close fight, right? It could have gone either way, and it just didn't go their way.
Yeah, and I mean, I was really hoping for them. But you know what? This time, they do come around. They get into 3rd place. They get plenty of kills, and they get a good placement. Mad props.
Yeah, let's just see if they can do that again, right? We have 2 Erangel games coming up next, and we'll see if that was a blip on the radar, or maybe they leveled up and got back to their day 1 form again. I would like to see the latter because it does seem like in the semifinals, all bets are off. The tournament's wide open. This is the 2nd time we're seeing TRD go out very early. Let's take a look at the highlights. What all went down in this match? It did start with TRD finding AXT and knocking them out very early, and this is what gave us hope that this team was back.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about sort of 3rd and 4th positionings, but we're completely wrong by about 10 positions. And then we see 7 Reef doing a little bit of damage, but getting murdered in the end. MEA going to be the 3rd party here, but unfortunately, they get turned on.
Yeah, and that was pretty much all she wrote here. You could see HeadHunterr trying for another fight, but this was the play that impressed me the most. Faker running and gunning. Now, he did get dropped a little bit low, but he healed back up, and all of a sudden, he spelled doom for the TRD members.
Yeah, and Hickshu laying down on the ground here was a decent play, but unfortunately it just wasn't good enough. Potentially a couple of grenades would have been better placed, but they end up going out there in that position.
I forgot about this. Rush to Crush come in and we're like, wait a second, L&D are on half their health bars. We can totally just come in here and kill all of them. And then,
oh no,
he must have not seen them in the water.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I honestly thought he got 1 or was going to be able to get some, but it didn't happen. This was a really good push from these guys.
Yeah, SMP did a good job for sure.
Ooh, but there's the knocks going out. Rush to Crush once again, taking out IK. This was a really good opportunity for them, and they made full use out of it, knocking a whole team out before they could even enter into the water.
I had a lot of hope for IK. They were dropped down into 10th place, though, unfortunately, so they still need to find a lot more here as we move into Erangel. And here was that final fight. Narcos getting dropped down, and with only 2 teams remaining. Slom, he just fires down the rest of his bullets onto the remaining members of SNT. And LTK, for the 2nd time, they take the chicken dinner, and honestly, they played incredibly well. Their rotations were super crisp.
Yeah.
I'm wondering where this team was in the group stages.
Lost. Who knows? They were just struggling.
Lost in rotation.
Yeah, they were just trying to keep hold of it. But let's have a look at SWAT 69 versus SNT, the 2 69 teams of the championship so far, but look at that damage difference.
Yeah, that's pretty huge, and I think you can see why the placements were so wildly apart at this point. Well, like, 4th place, not too bad for SWAT 69, but S&T were definitely the much more aggressive side. 2014 damage with 11 kills. So, you know, you got to think they could have gotten a lot more of those, but they had a few kills stolen away, but it still translates into a lot of match points. I want to see who got those kills, especially, though.
Yeah, SWAT 69 did get a bunch of kills last time. They got, I think, 19 kills, which was insane in the first game, but it didn't quite translate over into Sanhok. But let's have a look at the head-to-heads here between these two members. So let's have a look at the first one. It's going to be Dabai and Lashin. So Dabai didn't actually play in this one, so not quite sure why he's on here. Lashin as well.
See everybody, but Lashin, yeah, a little bit of numbers for him, not huge. We'll see Moha coming in there with just the 1 kill, a little bit of damage. But on the opposite side, Mustafa, that was where the standout really began. 4 of the kills for his side.
Yeah, I mean, 551 damage is pretty decent. It means he's got, well, yeah, four kills worth of damage plus an extra 1.5, which is really good. It just goes to show he is at least putting in the shots and hitting them.
Headshots as well.
Yeah, and then we have Ray, one of our preferred favorites, but he doesn't really get too many kills.
No, not this time. It definitely wasn't his best round, but it was far from his worst either. The damage wasn't huge, but he secured a couple of kills, so he was more or less efficient on the numbers he did put up. And then Captain puts up a little bit more damage numbers than the kills, but it kind of evens out at the end of the day.
Yeah, 333 damage, but let's have a look at the big boy here.
There's
it's going to be
again.
Narcos with 998 damage with 4 kills.
Narcos was huge. Well, Narcos was kind of that one that lasted all the way till the end, and then when he finally ran out from cover, the problem was LTK had taken up such a great position in the final circle, it was almost impossible to do that. And everyone that settled in boot camp, it kind of bit him in the end.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I saw that circle go outside of boot camp, it was like, well, GG, well played. If there's a single team on that hill.
I could see you grinning out of the corner of my eye, man.
You were just like, no. And I mean, because I know you're so fixated, obviously, on the fights that are happening in there, which was so fun.
That's why I rely on your eagle eyes, Tom.
My eagle eyes, you know. There was actually a meme about that. For a while, I had a picture of me on Twitter with actually like a pair of hawk eyes.
I don't know if I want to see that. I feel like it would haunt my dreams.
It was a little bit weird, to be honest, but, you know, we'll go with that one. But we'll see. I'm pretty happy with that game's results. A bit upset with the fact that TRD and 7T haven't played very well.
I mean, that was a horrible round for 7T. The first one, at least, they got a decent placement. But, you know, I mean, that's the surprising thing. They were such big group favorites. And, of course, if you want to see what exactly went down in those group stages, as well as keep up to date on the standings as they currently are, you can go ahead and check out our website at clubopen.pubgmobile.com for all that information and more. Additionally, Tom, you know, there's some highlights that'll definitely be reeling off after this and the ones we went through. Do you know where we can find them?
Yeah, you can find them on the YouTube, which is fairly easy to find, which is...
Of course, it is youtube.com/PUBG Mobile Esports. Don't forget to smash that subscription button, and then, of course, as Tom likes to say...
Ding-dong, that notification bell.
He's got eagle eyes, he's got buttery voice. I don't know. This guy is just a man of many talents and many skills.
They need to go check out that picture I posted, because we put on our main skill list there. So, you know.
Of course. Well, I think that's going to be it for us for now. We are going on a break. When we return, we will be coming back with the final 2 matches of the night. Erangel is up next. Don't go anywhere. The PUBG Mobile Club Open rolls on.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding the skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
On different teams as well. They're standing right next to each other because there was a sick gameplay. Oh, whoa, we got cars! Mustafa! His car's on fire right now as they chase him down UN.
That'd be a huge play to be able to do, but you know what? Talking about huge plays, AXT and
How do you hit that truck?
All the way up there, but let's return to the dance with Pyro.
They're still going.
Absolutely.
Right on through. I feel we're even seeing that. Guys, please.
Oh,
what are you doing?
They're patting each other. Luckily, fan-friendly fire is off with the rules.
Yeah, well, we don't talk about it for sure. We don't talk about this either.
Sorry.
What the heck are SWAT 69 doing? They've got cars on the roof. This game's gone off the rail. Yeah, okay, never mind.
No.
This is how you don't drive. Look at that. Wait a minute. They got back on the wheels? You kidding me? Remember, looking for 3 chicken dinners right now. Looks like SMP are going to start by taking down a couple of members of MBZ. 963 out in 8.
Okay, you know what? Bad for them. That's definitely good. AM going to be facing off with Codex that starts the way in the open.
What can you do at this point? Finding himself, he's got a little bit of cover. He's behind the tower. The team can take each other out. And by the way, PRD just keeps them.
Oh, no, you can do what happened last time to UF.
Welcome back, everybody, once again to the PUBG Mobile Club Open. I'm still Pirate Tanks, and the man next to me has the eyes of a hawk, the ears of a fox. Just don't call him Gimli. He's Tom Pickering, also known as... I'm waiting for you to do it. Freeman.
Okay, well,
it's a great.
cool.
It honestly is a great name, but yeah, no, I didn't prep you for that one, my dude.
No, yeah, no, I was a little bit unprepared.
I'm sorry.
I'll
take that one. That's my bad for sure.
I was going to go in for the really long one, but it's a good thing you didn't because I have like a big amount of air in me. I can go on for a long time.
Well, I don't know if we have the time for that. We're going to get into game pretty soon.
Yeah. Have you done the challenge? Yeah, boy, where you have to hold it for as long as you can?
Well, I mean, what syllable do you hold it on?
The very last one. You know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do it for more than like 40 seconds.
I think I managed to do like about a minute and like something.
I mean, I'm getting close when I do your first name because I like to hold it on the tom and then I let everything go to the end, right? Like that's the secret for me. It's like you hold back as much as you can and then you just slingshot it at the very end.
He practices this in his room.
Yeah, he's actually like walked in on me like just doing it to the mirror and he's like, dude, this is your prep, and I'm like, yeah, of course. I'm the play-by-play
And
caster.
we're not talking about the practicing of the name. But moving on.
Moving on from that, let's take a look at our standings, man, because Live to Kill got 77 points.
I said 78. It's 77. I was so close.
Your math was off by 1.
Cast the math. But what I did get right, actually, no, what I did get wrong again is actually SWAT 69 take second place.
It was the other 6-9 team, of course.
I wish they would change those tags. It would be very useful if they could do that, but nonetheless. I'm happy to see them here. They're finally performing as a duo somehow as teams. They're actually up here, and they're from 2 different regions or countries rather as well, so it's pretty impressive. And 77, 59, 45, really impressive. And
never one without the other.
And what we do actually, you know what? 7 Roof Tivas somehow made it into 6th position.
Yeah, so they had a pretty poor performance on Sanhok there. However, it was over the last couple of games. The one they had on Vikendi was really good, and that really put them into that top. But we will once again see the real deal. Out of the top 10, only 15 points. They've got so many kills, but their placement's been so bad.
That is just that's so awkward when you've got 9 kills, which I think is maybe one of the...
They're tied with Snap.
Yeah, that's nuts. And who else is tied is actually the 7 Roof team are tied with the 7th and 8th team as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting. But moving into these ones, let's have a look. MEA, we haven't talked about them too much. They managed to survive one of the fights last game and walked away with 2 members left alive whilst we actually saw LND push on towards TRD, wipe them out, whilst MEA slunk away into the shadows, managed to survive a bit longer, but unfortunately went out in the end. But still good for them. They ended up coming back and performing fantastically in the last day as well, where they picked up a couple of chicken dinners, 2 to be exact.
That they did. Now, of course, these are the other 8 teams that we won't be seeing today as they are in Group C, but they should be coming out tomorrow for their matches, and a lot of exciting stuff for them. We don't really have much time to talk about them. What we really want to talk about is who has stepped up to the plate, who hasn't. The thing is, though, we've had Vikendi, we've had Sanhok. These are kind of our wild card maps. Like, they play as much as they do on Miramar. However, Miramar is in the competitive pool on traditional PUBG. It's considered a little bit more balanced in that regard. It's a very land-based map. The circle can't necessarily favor you as hard. I feel like TRD and 70, whenever they have performed well, it does seem to be on Erangel or Miramar. So I wonder if those first 2 games that we saw, maybe a little bit of outliers.
Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to... Because one of the things we've been talking about is, have these teams actually done their homework on 7T and TRD? And if so, have they studied the sort of the rotations, the way they played? Say, for example, LND there, they know how TRD tend to respond to situations. Did they actually research that and actually push in at the right times? Or was it just pure luck? I think Erangel is going to be the deciding factor on here. And by the end of the day, we'll be able to tell if these guys have done the research on these 2 top teams and if they're going to be able to counter them going forward.
I think that's a very good point here. So I cannot wait to see when we drop into that one. We've had so many standout performances on that map from a variety of different teams as well. And that's going to be the exciting thing to see. But for TRD especially, I want to see them jump back in, at least get yourself a top 10 finish, because that is the thing that you really need to do to show that, hey, we can definitely tangle. It wasn't just the first couple of weeks we were dominating. With the points reset, a lot of teams have taken advantage of the fact that they start on these smaller, more wilder maps.
Yeah, and they've had a week to actually go through and do their research on all these teams, just go back on what I was saying. And they're trying to take advantage of this reset, and they're like, okay, we might not have put our all in before, but now we've done our research, we've warmed up over the last couple of weeks, and now we're going to be coming into the semi-finals of a competition, the chance to be able to get that one Middle Eastern spot
into the top 16 in the world, yeah.
Yeah, and then you get to fight for 2.5 million, so it's no joke. So these guys need to start acting seriously, and it seems like we've actually been seeing that from a lot more of these teams.
No, that's a fair point. It's easy to get kind of bogged down in the games at hand and look at what the teams are fighting for overall. Out of these 24, we will only see 16 teams facing off in the regional finals. That, of course, happens in about a month's time. You can see all that information also on our website. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the top 16 face off for, as you mentioned, one spot. That's the chance at that 2.5 million prize pool. If you can make it into the #1 spot for the Middle Eastern region, you get yourself a spot in the big global grand finals. And that's where everybody wants to be. We thought TRD had that one just based on the way they've been playing, but you still got to make it in the top 16. You still got to then finish out the finals. The way they're playing right now, this is definitely the rough start, but Erangel should be the turning point for them. A couple of the teams that I feel like haven't really lived up to the hype right now, even though they weren't the strongest. Sad to see HeadHunterr go out in 15th place on that last map. It seems like they're having trouble avoiding those early fights that always seem to be the bane of them. And, I mean, I don't know, what can they do here? I mean, maybe it is another thing where, like, Erangel will play them a little better because it is a wider map.
Yeah, I mean, the situation they got themselves in there is that they got tunnel vision again. We saw them focus on TRD, and as soon as they focused on TRD, MEA came in, started shooting at them, and then they sort of realized, hang on a minute, we're grouped up together. They were in 2 different clumps, and, well, yeah, 2 to 1 different clumps at one time, which really then screwed them over. So let's see what happens here in this plane.
Oh my goodness.
May well screw over a lot of people, as it's going to be right over Military Island. Oh,
that is such a southward plane path. I don't think I've seen it like that before.
It is not something you really want to see because it's going to be punishing a lot of these players as they try to
SMP drop military base. I'm just going to call it right now.
Yeah, I mean, we do have XT as well who have dropped there in the past, and we do see MEA drop out and they're going to be going up north. Usually we'd be seeing 7 Reef go up towards Yasnaya, TRD, almost always in Pachinki, apart from when they did the hot drop in where pretty much anywhere was fair game.
But change it this time, yeah.
I think they need to be a little bit more careful. So it's going to be quite interesting to see where they do drop and if they've done the homework. AXT still in the plane at the moment as the.
Ooh, okay, so looks like SWAT 69 do drop onto the military base.
That's over towards Novo, so that's actually a pretty empty area for them. And I think we've seen another team drop, but none over towards Military Island.
AXT or split dropping actually. Demons dropped onto the base. But you can see Lord actually still sitting inside the plane. We'll see where the rest of the players go, but of course everybody's still sitting towards the southern side. A couple of teams will move their way up. I would expect there to be a lot of Pachinki drops this time around just because of the plane path.
Yeah, and hopefully what we do see is a lot of these teams actually just going for the rotations. They find the car and then they actually just go up north and find their own place rather than trying to sit into these positions. And look at that circle. It actually goes up.
They're going to have to go north. Man.
So we have actually seen a couple of these teams like Snap in the past go up towards Severny and a few of the other ones. So hopefully we do see them go up this time round. IK have dropped in there looking to go over towards the Povka, picking up a couple of cars. Picking up cars early on is the best situation. Hopefully the teams actually take a realization from this and be like, right, in the future we get cars and then we get loot.
So there's only a handful of teams that actually managed to drop where the circle was going to be, but some of them are still heading down anyways. 7 Reef team are one of the ones.
Look who it is, though. TRD and 7 Reef going to be in Pachinki.
Oh, they're both fighting it out in Pachinki. Yes. Man, if they take each other out early, the hits keep coming, man.
I don't really care if either one of them die. I just want to see them fight.
Well, that is what we wanted to see because we haven't seen a direct confrontation with them since they first played off against each other day one when we didn't really have any of our narratives set. L&D are going to be the furthest north right here as they will drop, it looks like, onto school, potentially Rozhok.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to have to go towards school because their parachutes aren't going to allow them to go too much further. I'd be very surprised that if they do try to go beyond that. So I think apartments and school is probably the 2 areas.
Rush
maybe
pressure on Yasnaya, and so is IK. So everybody else is going to be running for it, but let's take a look at this. And here were our 2 best teams in groups, 7 Reef team and TRD, facing off against one another on Pachinki.
Who do you think is going to come out better on this one?
The way they've been playing, I kind of favor 7T.
Yeah, I think they might be able to do this.
Look at Reef.
It depends on, I think, loot purely, but SC0 going to be coming under fire.
Oh boy, that's a little bit of shots, but not too much. Looks like these teams aren't quite fully looted yet. Mr. 404 on the rooftop.
Yeah.
But just like his name, he's not finding any players.
Although on the first game he came in clutch and actually managed to finish off Rush to Crush. So maybe they can find this sort of situation in better against the TRD because they do have the position in. But if TRD gets single shot off, they could be better off.
Kevin's going for a drive. He backs into behind the house, very low already early on. So we're all seeing this from the 7 Reef perspective. They definitely seem to have the better of TRD for now.
Yeah, and most of them seem to have M16s at the moment, so not fully auto guns. I think maybe 1 or 2 of them do.
I couldn't have had much time to loot.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're pretty much fine right off the bat, so it's pretty dangerous.
Hackshot is running. Oh, he's dropped! That's Fazza. And he opens fire into the house here, looking for Zero, but he gets turned on in kind. That's from Kevin, who managed to find a cross spot.
This is fantastic positioning coming out from TRD. They do go for that alt position, but this does just mean that 7 Reef are going to be able to pick up their dropped player there.
Yeah, Mr. 404 does manage to get Fazza back up onto his feet. So for the time being, it's still a 3v4. Hackshot, if he can creep around the side, Zero should be able to res him back up onto his feet. Low health bars, though, for a couple of these members.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of grenades could actually do them a big bit of use here against 7 Reef, because they're sort of grouped up in 2 buildings now, 3 in one and 1 in another. And these big white buildings, is what most people tend to refer them to here in Pachinki, are quite open for grenades to happen, especially on the mobile version where there's a lot more openings and less doors inside, which means that the grenade damage can carry a lot easier. But 7 Reef seems to be a bit happy here. They're able to just chill around and move and take a shot at a couple of people and also avoid Kevin's gaze.
Yeah, Kevin is definitely going to be the X factor right now. We'll check back in with them in a little bit because we do want to see what's happening over on the other side of the map here. This is SWAT 69. However, there's a fight going on early. HeadHunterrs once again finding themselves in the crosshairs of some opposition, and it looks like it's Dr. Savage who gets dropped down from Wasim of MEA.
Yeah, and I mean, we did see a surprising result from MEA when they returned with 0 points, and they had to qualify with only 4 games. They did it with ease.
They crushed it, man. They had, what, I think 2 chicken dinners, a 2nd place finish, and then like a 5th.
Yeah, it was insane. I have to give them mad props. And it wasn't the fact that they just got those sort of placements. They also got the kills. And you know what? Rush to Crush versus IK. This is going to be interesting because IK have got potential. Wait, sorry, is that?
That's UN.
UN, I'm blind apparently. IK actually went down over towards the Povka. Oh!
That's going to be another drop down here. Oh, wait, no, it's not quite yet. Some shots being fired as Kevin, he's back inside the car looking to reposition as the rest of the 7 team members are posted up. Kind of barracksing it.
Yeah, so they may well just be better off to drive away from this, and I think this is a good decision from TRD. They do recognize that they're not able to really take this fight, but as I say that, they may well just jump out here and fight from this garage building.
Oh, they've gone north right here, so this is on the northern edge of the Chinky, right? And this is honestly better for the circle placement because TRD have an out if they need it. Hicks you up on the rooftop here looking for some shots, but 7T have yet to present a target. And this is some great play from across the way, and I think it really does favor both of these teams' play styles. The way that they are playing it right now as opposed to like a lot of like compound-to-compound breach strategies. That didn't seem to favor them on the last 2 maps.
What's actually quite interesting from this is you see that smoke. Most of you think, what the hell is the point in it? Well, actually, they're just covering up one of the shooting points from TRD, so they can only shoot from certain angles and see them rotate. I'm not quite sure where that music... Is that from that cherry blossom tree that music's coming from?
I mean, that is a very musical tree over there by Hospital.
Nice LTK.
Party there.
Now, LTK, back-to-back chicken dinners and 77 points. Insane played by these guys. Are they going to be able to mirror that on this map? I don't know. I don't think so from their previous performances. They've not really been able to perform as well on Erangel, but they could surprise us. There has been surprises today so far. TRD, though, have taken up a different position. Zero is taking a good counter position.
Yeah, this is just kind of a game of move around the side, who can go undetected.
Oh.
Nade is out here for Mr. 404i. Looks for Zero. Did it go through the doorway? It looks like it did. He's dropped very low here. Realizes he might need to heal up.
Luckily for him, it was behind the table, I think. But now he has been spotted, and the knowledge that he's here is unfortunate for him. But seems
Mr. 404 is not going to go for it. He tries to get up into the top level, get a better shot, get a better angle. But so far, this is a bit of a stalemate between these 2 teams. Another smoke comes down for the 7 Reef members. And we'll check back in here as the UN side and HeadHunterrs. It's down to, I think, 2 members of HeadHunterr. And Rush to Crush are sniffing around on the outside. This is just so unfortunate for the Bahraini squad. They always run afoul of an opponent that can just outfight them early on.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the fact that they turned up on a buggy, they did take a lot of fire, and they're having to heal up from that as well. So Julius and Nightmare are going to have to be careful. Nightmare being...
Nightmare's in.
Yeah, I mean, he I was just sort of mentioning he is one of the guys who tends to get sort of subs quite often. But it seems like Rush to Crush are going to be trying to take some shots at UN.
Yeah, this is a little tense here. Hunter's a little bit low, so UN might be in a bit of trouble themselves. There's a lot of these like standouts, and this is what makes it so different from the maps on Vikendi and on Sanhok, is we see teams finding compounds that are much more spread out. that are able to kind of get into these extended firefights after a full looting session, as opposed to the kind of helter-skelter play that we see on those other 2 maps.
Yeah, and so talking about the firefights, we're going to be returning back over towards TRD, and so far, there's still just a bit of a stalemate of, well, nothing's really happening. Reef, though, is in a decent position, but his health has been knocked down a bit low.
Yeah, Zero's going to rejoin his team, so all 4 TRD members are inside or around the back of this house. They have 1 vehicle. But the last time they all tried to hop in a car for a road trip, it didn't end well for them. However, if they can make their great escape, well, where are they going to be heading? And we'll see where the next circle ends up going here, as it's going up towards shooting range in Severny.
This is going to be an interesting one. We've not really seen one of these circles, and it's like if this lands on shooting range, it's going to be very interesting.
The closest was last week on Ruins.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see where it does go on that front. I mean, shooting range would be in a really interesting place to play, and MEA have actually got an advantage here because they can sort of get in a good position. There's a lot of hills, there's a lot of different positions. We did actually see a circle ending just above Rozhok on the northern side, which was an interesting one, and LTK have gone on the drop.
In the trenches here.
Who was that against?
Don't know. We'll have to check in with just a minute because it looks like HeadHunterrs are going to get wiped off the map. Very shortly, down they go. That's the last remaining members of Rush to Crush are going to get knocked down as well. So that's actually 15th position that you see HeadHunterrs going out in. And UN taking a helping of damage as well.
So what happened to Rush to Crush there? That was a little bit disappointing. It seems like HeadHunterrs did get a couple of kills, but let's have a look at MEA, who are trying to drive away from Severny. They don't want to take too much damage here, as IK take a couple of shots.
Yeah, IK actually winning one of those compound things has to feel pretty good for them because that's a team that's had so much trouble actually winning some very basic fights just because they end up getting the misfortune of facing off against a very tough compound fighting team. That time around, things are a little bit different. They shine through ahead. MBZ, they found themselves a quiet little area, a little flooded, but not too bad otherwise.
Waterworld, as it's called, and this is actually a consistent drop for them. They tend to always go here, and they don't get contested that often. I think they got contested once where they were then unable to actually make it across there, but we'll see what they end up doing. TRD have gone away. They've managed to make it into the circle in actually a really, it's not a really healthy, but it's a decent healthy position, and they're going to be able to loot up a little bit, and there's actually still IK versus Nox.
Yeah, Nox have been here for a while. Now, you have to think they're going to be wanting to improve the positioning from last time because their Sanhok match was actually a disaster. But it's only upward and onward from there, and they are a smart team. They know not to overcommit and not to get involved too long for a fight. Here is LTK. Will, of course, always be tracking them. They got the 2 chicken dinners. They still have 4 members strong. Slom is a little bit low on the health bars. Consistently, they've been using him. Interestingly enough, 9-9 is in, but they've subbed a different player. And you can see LTK are going to be running through Ruins. SMP going to be running from Georgiapol off to the western side. Yasnaya, UN are still there. But as the circle continues to shrink down, you got to think we're going to be in for some real nutty fights with lots of teams getting in for the pylon.
Yeah, it seems like Nox have come under fire as well, so they may end up a little bit of a disadvantage here, and IK could come and shine through as they don't have to rotate, so it does give them that advantage. And just to throw back, I mean, we did see LND close to one of the bridges near Rozhok. If they decide to cap that bridge, that's going to cut off one of the access points to the northern side, and we may well see a bit more of the capping of the other bridges as we go through into the future games.
Yeah, and that's the kind of strategy that, you know, you always talk to me about it being a very well-known one, of course, in desktop PUBG, but while the meta is a little unsettled here on the mobile version, not a lot of the teams are able to do it, so now that we're seeing that kind of evolve, that's the good stuff, for sure. 7T going to take a drive off, double buggies.
Yeah, talk about the tactics that they should be adopting. They are driving in 2 vehicles, which is the preferred amount from me. I'll scold
at the very least. I mean, you can get 4. You can have like a squad for sure. And it looks like LTK have caught 7T in their sights, and this could be trouble. Reef is dropped early. He might get a limbed here.
He is going down. And it wasn't to TRD. It was actually going to be ended up being LTK. So far, the top favorite team in this whole start of the semifinals.
Rotation.
But LTK have 0 vehicles, so they're going to be having to run through the blue for quite a while now. So their med situation is not going to be great. And 7T may well be able to get revenge if they decide to camp this bridge.
Yeah, they just give up Reef, so it's unfortunate for them that their clutch player goes down. But nonetheless, the rest of their players have had a pretty solid performance today when they haven't gone down early. TRD, they have a couple of caravans themselves.
They're going to be bumping heads.
Oh, we will definitely see the rematch later on. And a smaller zone to boot. Still 14 teams alive as we zone on down. IK, MEA, Nox, all here.
And Severny is not inside the next circle, so these guys are going to have to move. And I have to say, that is not the IK's strongest point of view. Like, they can't rotate that easily.
No,
when
not
it
without
comes to
running
them.
into Nox.
Yeah, and LTK going to be low to this circle, so unfortunately for them, this puts them at a really big disadvantage going forward.
This is why you talk about getting the vehicles, right? It's important. You can't outrun the blue consistently. LND are going to be trading some fire with some of the MEA members off screen, but we'll check back in here on Severny. Mustafa, this man, I don't think he realizes he has a team.
You know what? If it works for them, it works for them, and so far it's got some
It does work to their advantage. I think they just told him that, like, hey, we're 3-stack, you're on your own, but don't shoot us. Friendly fire's off anyways. And he just doesn't ask any questions.
I don't think LTK are going to be able to make this easily.
No.
They're very low on meds. You can see them, they're desperately looting around it. But unfortunately, because they took so long and they landed in Gatka, they're going to have to do a long rotation. But it's going to be MEA here fighting against LND. And already MEA have lost a couple of members to LND.
LND do have the high ground here on shooting range for sure. Meanwhile, TRD are taking a little bit of fire as well. You can see some down members. Look at how low Zero is as well. And the fire from the car means everyone's going to have to start moving. But here comes SNT moving around the side. There is the knockdown onto Mustafa. Here comes Captain trying to get him, but it looks like it's going to be turned around. Lashin finding a lot of damage around the side, but SNT lose 2 members already. It's just going to be Captain and Lashin.
But Hixure is going to be the last one standing on his team, if I'm right in saying this is not going to be so good for him.
Yeah, it's Kevin dropped. This is not great for TRD. We expected more. Once again, we see them losing out big time. And I think there's 2 members. It's going to be Hackshot. Is he downed, though?
No, he's not down, so he's actually still alive. The nade will be coming in. Let go of that grenade, Captain, or you're going to die.
He puts it back in. You can't put a pin back in it, unlike real life. And didn't see him.
Ah, he was down.
He moved around the side there. No chances. And it looks like it's going to be 1-on-1 here between SNT and TRD.
He took care of him.
He managed it. Hicks you. Oh, but Captain turns it around. That's 14th place again. TRD are out.
What is going on? How have they failed this so much?
It's not their day.
Very surprising. MEA, they're going to be coming under heavy fire from ND, like I mentioned earlier. Down to 2 members, one just being revived, and TRD going out in 14th place. You got to think, what is 7 Reef thinking right now? They're down at the bottom of the circle.
That was an expensive fight, though, for SNT. They lose everybody but Captain, so at this point, he's well within the circle, but he's going to need to find a nice hidey hole, and enemies are closing in around him. One team that's had a very quiet map is SMP. They've just been chilling up there by the beach.
Yeah, they're having a nice, tidy time of it. They want to try and stay alive, and they might well be able to do that.
Couple
LTK,
of LTK members. Oh, no.
That's it.
How far can you throw the nade before you die to the zone?
I think they're out.
Yeah, that's 13th place. And IK have rolled up here onto SWAT 69, but unfortunately, their turf, their rules, they get fired down pretty quickly. Kramik and Crow on. Oh, and Hoger as well. I think this is going to be it. Meanwhile, LND caught in the crossfire between Nox, and the shooting begins. Once again, a complete squad wipe onto the LND side. And they go out in 11th.
That was really good from Nox, and this just gives massive sort of preference and an overview of as to why splitting up is good, like Nox did there. They didn't stay in one position, so all their bullets weren't coming from one spot. So they're able to take down that team from multiple angles.
LND actually were still up for just a second. I think they still have one more player. Nox, they've got 3 alive, but it's a slim cover here as MEA have them in the sights. Everyone meeting up on shooting range as they throw the smoke down.
Yeah, unfortunately, this position they're in is very open, and it's not really enough of a protection for them to be able to be protected from all angles. So they should probably move from this position, or at very least just drop one person inside that shed and then run away from with the rest, which is what they are trying to do.
More Z and Orluz are going to be making moves now. We will check back in with Captain here, the last surviving member of SNT. He's just going to have to hope that nobody tries to go for this breach. Maybe he can take him by surprise. 7 Reef, they're on track to have a much better performance here. But remember, with TRD out, our group teams that had such dominance just have not shown the same level here in the opening matches of the semifinals. And here comes SMP, looking to move up on to UN. They got a buggy to themselves, a couple of members there. 2 already driving around, so it's just car pals, it looks like.
You have to be careful because driving on that buggy is very open. As you can see, the damage coming out almost at Nox too.
Gotta be careful. Go rejoin up. Oh, actually just going to pop out of it instead. So Sheriff and Codex go split up. There's one other buggy where you can see Thanos and Seif are perfectly safe for the time being. Meanwhile, here's the breach. 17 looking for Captain. And it should just be a matter of time as he gets dropped down. That's a 10th place finish for SNT.
Yeah, and they've actually managed to pick up a Groza there, which is one of the main reasons why they're able to be able to take that like they did. So 7 Reef still alive. UN going to be coming on fire.
Yeah, they are. UN, they've had another quiet round as well, but it looks like those days are over for the time being. SWAT 6-9 are just raining down bullets on top of them. Master and Bonemer having to
kind of move out a little bit closer to the beach there. That is going to be Z8RT.
So I think that's inside the circle either. So they're going to be in a little bit of trouble here, as they're going to have to rotate. They did take out Rush to Crush and also HeadHunterrs earlier over in Yasnaya, as there was 3 teams that went there after HeadHunterrs to push over. Yeah, that was really well played by UN. And there's only 9 teams left alive.
Oh, Snap in some trouble right now as the Nox members unload onto him. Orluz and Morzy caught him around the side.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was a micro Uzi, and it's
not very accurate.
Yeah, I mean, at that distance as well.
It sounds very scary, but it does not make the accurate shots.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you realize what's shooting at you, you're like, oh, it's that. Literally, let's just move a meter away. And
so Nox didn't actually have a full loot setup, so a little unfortunate for them. Now they will get back into the car and make moves. AXT still alive in this one as they have made their way into the south side of shooting range. You can see where the next circle is. This actually favors MEA, who are looking to climb back into their old position, dominating as they did on the final day of groups here. Seif does get dropped down by Lord from AXT.
By the time this circle closes, there'll be, I think, 3, maybe 4 teams left alive.
I think you're right. We got 9 still. 28 players alive as we are closing in on the 20-minute mark of play here on Erangel.
It's not going to be in much cover here, and when you have a team like AXT who are spreading themselves out like this and they're able to spot out most of Snap as they try to push in, they should be able to get the shots, but they have to be careful not to get too blindsided and make sure they have got the position inside the circle, which it looks like they have. So they just need to dominate this, and they can be one of those few teams left.
SP might be split here between Nox and AXT. Clown does get the down onto Thanos.
And the shots come in from Nox.
Ooh, Sharif, he's trying to creep away. Gets back up, opens some fire, but he's not managing to find them. Orluz opens up on the sights, trying to get the knockdown. Morzy is knocked as well as Thanos is taken out by Clown.
Yeah, AXT are just coming up behind them as well, and now the blue's going to hit them. Codex, do your dance, because that's the last thing you're going to be able to do.
No, he's going down swinging right now. He's going to be running for it as he can, and somehow avoiding a couple of bullets, but finally gets dropped by Galiko, and that will be 9th place finish there for Snap.
And that is the VSS, one of the most probably underrated weapons amongst a lot of people, but nonetheless, like I said, a few teams going to be able to make it into this circle, and that's the first team out.
Yeah, well, shooting range, you're absolutely right about that. That name is not a misnomer this time around. Here's MBZ throwing down the smokes, and this might be the best we've seen from this squad, because usually what's happened today is they've just been running across the map and then meeting their doom, but they've managed to survive into the top 8 positions here. Abbas is going to open fire here, and it looks like they've found some of the SWAT 69 members who seem to be holed up well earlier on, and that is the wipe out. So SWAT 69 out in 8th place.
Yep, 7 teams left, another 4 teams to go. Before this circle closes.
It's always one member of IQM. It's Mustafa. 99. He had a smiley face before, I believe. There were 2 Mustafas on IQM.
Yeah, now back to the non-smiley face. And he might actually be able to break my cool here and might not make it inside the circle. But the rotation from UN coming in.
Here comes UN, 2 cars, and they're just trying to split the difference there. But Galiko opens up on a Hunter, getting the knockdown immediately at point-blank range. The man just couldn't miss there. And that should be the finisher. Let's see if Master can stay alive. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case as he runs smack dab into the AXT members.
6 teams.
And we're down to 6. UN out in 7th.
Couple of teams here to go, and we're going to be 7 seeing UN losing another member, so I think they've got 1 standing. MEA going to be coming under fire as well.
Yeah, now we can see 7T starting to find a couple more shots on their side. Seemingly, they are in a good position here. AXT moving as 3 at the moment. They do have 4 up. I don't know where the 4th is. Looks like Demon is just outside the circle for the time being. Bunamir does manage to find Script, puts him down onto his knees. Still down to 6 players in the shooting range. It will contract even further into what looks like just open hills.
This is going to be right on top of it.
Oh, those Bonimir's out now. That's actually 6th place for you.
Yeah, quite interesting for them being able to survive that part. And MBZ making it into the top 5. And also, guess what? 7 Reef, they're still alive. And LTK aren't here to contend and try and take their top position because they went out really early due to them dying to the blue. But let's see if AXT can push in here.
Yeah, AXT trying to make their presence known as well. Lord has to run and take cover behind the tree. You can see Nox, 2-man of Orluz and Galiko opening up fire onto them as they try to rotate around. Clown might run into Abbas. Not sure if he sees him here. And it looks like it doesn't matter if he does because his teammate was right behind. Clown is in a heaping helping of trouble. He's going to have to use that first aid kit, but he doesn't get the chance. Knocked onto his knees by a nade.
Looks like they're not going to allow a Clown to stand around, and they're going to blow up his car. And now we're going to have to try and see if Nox can crawl their way in, because they're going to come under fire from Executor here.
Shouldn't have worn those squeaky shoes, man. It's a dead giveaway.
Unfortunately, he didn't actually drive the Clown car, because if he had, maybe the rest of his team would have just popped out.
Yeah, well, the rest of AXT are coming in hot right now, and Clown hasn't actually been dropped just yet. So MEA might actually have to back off here. Wasim and Abbas are both down to half their health bars.
Yeah, as soon as they go for the peak, we should actually see AXT being able to take the shots against them.
Here
comes Wasim. He's just creeping around the car here. Nox, meanwhile, such a great set of play from them, but they're now engaging 7T with 5 teams remaining. Let's see how this one goes. Rodel, good scope up onto Wasim, gets the drop down.
That's actually really well played. This is going to allow them to be able to pick up their members. This is Executor's game to lose.
I think you're right. This one is looking so good. Wasim actually gets taken out by Rodel again, and a boss as well. MEA get eliminated in 5th.
Wow. Not so good.
I didn't see that one coming. I mean, the way he's scoping is insane, but I didn't think it was quite that good as Fazal gets dropped down. Los Kev is here around the side. MBZ, this is definitely one of the better matches for them as well. Circle continuing to close in.
They may even be able to make it to 3rd place, which would be, I think, maybe their best overall positioning ever.
We're into Final 4.
Yeah.
Here's Nox. And this is just where everybody becomes a snake.
Snakes.
There's no cover at all.
I mean, yeah, the only cover that really exists is on MBZ and also AXT in the hillside.
Now, I think 7T still have a couple members remaining. They do. It's Control here and Mr. 404i. But they're down to 2 and make that 1. Lord can open fire into the Nox members off to the side, but he can't quite find Purchase.
Oh.
He does eventually. It looks like it's actually Mr. 404i that does it onto Galiko. Still 4 teams remaining. Several severely wounded here.
Are they going to be able to make it in? I mean, Dr. Luz here has a micro Uzi in his hands. Not the best gun you really want. Don't pick up
ran out of smoke, I think. They're just going to be creeping through, but the blue is a lot faster than they are, and there's a care package for cover, and you better make it. AXT, they're eyeballing it right now, but MBZ have their sights trained on him. Nox, Galiko's gone down. That's 7T finding some revenge there.
Are they going to be able to find that player who's just sitting out in the open? Dr. Luz going for the run.
Can he do it? He's trying to join Morzy. Morzy's still up in this one, but he's going to get dropped to his knees. That's going to be Demon who finds the shot. AXT are just murdering this map right now, and that will be the finish onto the one of the final members of Nox. Morzy is going to be the last man standing for his own team.
Yeah, now MBZ are going to have some attention from the unwanted clown team with the AXT guys.
Yeah, that's Morzy taken out. That's 4th place finish for Nox. Not too bad for them, but you got to think they were hoping for a little bit more here. Clown taking a little bit low as Lord and Rodel go to cover their front. Kevlos trying to use that low ground, drop down by the superior numbers of AXT.
This is 7 Reef's chance to be able to take control, or at least try to take something here. But if they take too much sort of aggression, they may go down too early.
It's Kevlos and Los Kev. Let's see if they can keep it alive. Clown's getting dropped, but Kevlos does as well. So it's a trade back and forth. MBZ down to 1 member.
And it's actually going to be Control coming in and taking down another member as well, but Control is going to be very low on HP.
Heals up.
Oh,
good first aid.
Going out.
Los Kev is in trouble right now. He's in the low ground. He's burning. There are 2 teams on either side of him. I think MBZ, they're going out in 3rd here, but Los Kev is going to make a break for it. He tries to go up. Stutter step.
I don't know. I thought that was a grenade that went out, but I think it was a Molotov. So we are going to be seeing the heavy rotation from 7 Reef, but they're going to get spotted. Clown.
That's going to be Demon getting dropped down by Control, though. And Los Kev manages to actually get 1 and still stay alive in this. It's still a 3-team game, but Los Kev is hanging on for dear life.
Oh, they've both got no HP here. One shot will take either one of them out, but they're both going to be first aiding, but one's going to be first. He's going to be able to potentially peek him.
Wait, Control's crawling. He can't do it. He's just trying to give away the position right now, and he does get finished off by Los Kev. It's going to be a 1-on-1 on 4 here. AXT, absolutely their map to lose.
Oh, this is so impressive here, and he's going to get spotted. 2nd position may well be coming out!
Oh my goodness! And that is going to guarantee at least 2nd place for 7 Reef team, courtesy of AXT.
Minimum of 27 points from this game, but he might be able to go in for more. He knocks 1.
Mr. 404i, can he do it? Can he pull the clutch off? I don't think so. Those numbers were just too much to overcome. 7 Reef place in 2nd, but it's a chicken dinner for Executor.
That is really well played by all these teams. Fantastic. I mean, 10 kills coming out from AXT, guaranteeing them a decent amount of 40 points for their first win, and decent game here so far in the semi-finals. 7 Reef getting their best game as well, a total of 27 points in their point. So that's going to be pushing them up as well. They were 6th place, but they're going to be even higher on the board now.
That's the likes of AXT we were expecting to see. Of course, they didn't have terrible performances across the other games, but it seemed like a couple of early firefights, and now we start to see the teams that do favor Erangel a little bit better, that are really good at these cross-game plays, or cross urban area plays. They can really hold out for a long time. They know how to breach well, and we're still seeing some surprises. TRD out early. This time 7 Reef perform in the clutch. They get to 2nd place, and you got to start wondering, what happened to TRD? Did they forget to do their homework? Did they not turn it in? Did they say the dog ate it?
Were they?
Those excuses don't count.
Were they overconfident? I think that was probably a thing. They probably spent the last week drinking margaritas on a beach somewhere thinking, we got this in the bag. We had a lead by a ridiculous amount. But let's have a look at the highlights here. A few interesting ones going to come out.
Yeah, more headhunters just getting headhunted themselves. Not a whole lot they could do here as they were caught between a rock and a hard place, or rather a rush to crush and a UN squad. And then rush to crush, very kind of chaotic fight there, and it looks like they end up going out in about 15th place or so. And then we see Narcos, Captain, and the rest of SNT taking out TRD in what was an extremely costly fight, but in the end, Captain was the last man standing.
I think one of the biggest issues for them is that they TRD tried to go for too many finishes. And talking about finishing, IK getting finished out on the road there was a bit unfortunate as Seven Reef push in over towards Captain, take him out.
Yeah, those were the numbers that were pretty easy right there. And then you, of course, see SMP kind of getting caught right there with their backs against the blue. Only a tree for cover. Nothing they could do here. MEA had a banner performance. Just not enough to really finish the job. A boss there, he takes a lot of damage. UN kind of go in and just Leroy their way towards AXT and towards Nox. But unfortunately, they just didn't have the members. And Rodel, man, this guy was a sniper.
Yeah, and he actually got the final kill on MBZ as well. And MBZ did really well in this fight as well. They helped take out MEA. As we can see from here, we actually see Lost Cav take out one of the members from a Seven Reef, which really crippled them going forward into the game. And then he also helps take out Nox, which is really good from them. I mean, Executor managed to do a fantastic play. They got down into this position. They also then snaked their way down the hill, covering each other as they went down. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
I think Rodel was my MVP for this match for sure. Like, it wasn't just the sniping plays. Like, he was also basically pulling his weight and then some across the board. AXT doing a great job. Yeah, this is Control being like, hey, he's over here. He's over here. Oh, he's dead now.
That actually helped him massively because it meant Rodel took his concentration onto that last player.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the way it works. So, unfortunately, Mr. 404, he does get it down here. It's kind of a nice effort, but you're facing off a 1v4. Unless you're one of those players and you have a really good position that you can actually clutch from, it's kind of over at that point. AXT, a well-earned chicken dinner this time around. So, LTK, as we mentioned, they go out fairly early, and that means it's all up for grabs.
Yep.
Second Erangel, though, is going to be an interesting one for sure. We've had one, yes, but what about second Erangel? Of course, it's coming up after this.
Yeah, and I mean, that plane pass was really bad. It went sort of in between the islands, between military and
then it was
mainland.
the most northern circle that we can get to. So it was like, hey, by the way, get trolled.
Yeah, trust me. I mean, if you're playing any of these games and you've played and you've had that situation, you know how angry that is. But just imagine you're playing for 2.5 million potential prize pool on the line, and you're still only in semifinals, and you need every point, and then the circle pops up. Really frustration. But let's have a look at Executor versus MEA here on the head-to-head.
Yeah, so this was a great round for both these teams. Obviously, Executor were the ones that came out in the top. 10 kills for them, 1,700 damage. So they did 17 kills worth of damage, but MEA definitely respectful as well. Let's take a look, though. Rodel, he was the man of the match for me, and he did get half the team's kills, 774 damage, and a lot of distance covered. But Guns was actually right at his back with the amount of time traveled, or rather the distance traveled.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit surprised that Guns didn't get more kills, but I think he went out a bit earlier on. We have seen some fantastic performances from him last week, so let's see if he does turn up next time. But the next head-to-head is actually going to be Clown versus Wazim, and these are two players that are pretty good. Wazim actually gets almost 1,000 damage.
Fortunately, only one kill for him.
Only one kill, so it's a little bit of an unfortunate there, which he must have pretty much dominated
the
damage
on his team.
They were spraying a lot,
too. I think I remember watching MEA really put the damage out like across the board, but it looked like a lot of the kills may have gotten taken away from them.
Yeah, I think they got a bunch of Nox, but they got revived. Nox
We don't count
revived,
Nox, unfortunately.
Yeah,
That's
no
a bummer.
points for them.
And Clown, of course, got a couple of kills, but then he did get dropped. Squeaky Shoes, we mentioned it earlier on. A lot of distance covered by both these teams, just because, again, the nature of the circle, where it ended up finalizing, where everybody dropped. Now you can see how Lord Nabas had actually a very, very even stretch between the two of them. This was, I mean, we rarely see two team members actually matched this close.
I think this is probably the closest we've seen any of the members match each other. Apart from the guys who get 0-0, then that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't really count. If you're not in the game, I guess it's kind of hard not to match, right?
Exactly, yeah. So either way, really well played by Executor there. They managed to get the good rotations. We saw that into the final circle. They were able to shift over with one of their car, which gave them forward position, the knowledge where the players were, and then they covered each other as they leapfrogged down the hill. Roto obviously getting that knock really enabled them to be able to take that and getting a kill on the scoreboard.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of scoreboard, you can find our up-to-date scoreboard as well as all of the previous stuff, including all the highlights and all the information on all of our players in this tournament over at our website on clubopen.pubgmobile.com. So make sure you go there for all of your information. It's not just for the ME region. You can, of course, catch everything for all the regions at the PUBG Mobile Club Open. And in addition, I mentioned highlights. You know where we can find them, Tom? You can find them on YouTube.
Yeah, and I mean, what is that YouTube account? I mean,
you know, I think I'm going to have to try to reach back into my memory. It is youtube.com/PUBGMOBILE esports. Don't forget to smash that subscription button. And, of course, as Tom likes to say,
ding dong, that notification bell.
Music to my ears every single time, so you do not miss a single minute of the PUBG Mobile esports action. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the next couple of games, next couple of days. But before we get underway with that, we have one more map of Erangel. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Play PUBG Mobile for free.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
Welcome back, everybody, once again to the PUBG Mobile Club Open semifinals for the ME region. I am still Pyrotechnics, and he is still Tom We Freeman Pickering. And that's right, I'm not going to accentuate your name because we got plenty of days left to go before that happens, because there has been a lot of action already. 3 maps down, 1 more to go on Erangel, and I have no idea who's going to win. We had a double chicken dinner for LTK. They get knocked out very quickly on the first Erangel, and Executor end up taking it after an impressive showing from them.
Yeah, I mean, we did mention that we kind of expected good maps from LTK on the first 2 ones. Like that's their home ground. That's where they're better on.
They like the
Vikendi
chaos.
And, yeah, the Vikendi Sanhok is sort of suits them better. Partly because they've had good positioning, which is either down to luck or just down to our the actual positioning. But we'll have to wait to see that later on. But let's have a look at the scoreboard in LTK. Still somehow clutch into first place.
Yeah, but it's getting a lot closer here with SWAT 69 creeping up on their behinds, and you can see SNT as well with a lot of frags to boot, just not nearly as much as the competition. Just above them, moving into that 3rd place position with 55, but right behind them, fresh off a chicken dinner, our Executor, 54 points for them, and 7 Reef team started to put up decent results, are 1 point behind that. So the top 5 is so close, especially in that 3 to 5 position.
Yeah, and I mean, it was quite interesting to see on there is actually SWAT 69 have over double the kills of 7 Reef team. That's impressive, and almost double the 2.
And they are the SWAT team of our standings for sure.
Actually, yeah, I mean, they've almost got double kills over most of the teams.
Look at that, UN in 9th place. They've been very quietly creeping up the scoreboard here with 44 points. 13 kills, so it's respectable, but a lot of it is coming off of placement. A team with the same number of placement points but far less frags are the ME Assassins, who've had 1 standout performance. That was on Erangel today. And then Rush to Crush kind of went back to their old ways that last round. Not so good on placement. They rushed, but then they got crushed.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of team that they're not afraid of anyone, but when they do meet someone, it's a coin flip.
Yeah, only the teams that are better than them, which there are a lot, tend to beat them in these fights. So it's a bit of a coin flip, but unfortunately the coin doesn't always land their way. So they'll go in, they'll fight anybody, but they really need to start picking and choosing those fights a little bit better. And we'll see if that happens again on the second Erangel. But I think we've definitely seen some interesting changes of the standings, of course, the last teams. You'll see will be the ones in Group C that will face off tomorrow. However, in Groups A and B, we've seen some interesting stuff. I think still the biggest surprise is TRD hasn't shown up yet.
8 placement points. I think
barely any frags. I mean, they did take 3 of S&T's members down with them, so it's not like they can't fight, but they're making poor decisions that are uncharacteristic of what we saw from the real deal in the group stages, in almost all of the group stages matches.
Yeah, I mean, they just went too hard in that fight. They dedicated themselves to it. And we actually saw Hackshot. He actually pushed to try and finish one of the players, which then meant he had to reload, which means he wasn't able to get in a better position for when the next player pushed. If he had those couple of seconds to back away or to reposition himself in a better spot to be able to take the fight, whole different storyline. But because he went aggressive and got the kill, that punished them. And that, unfortunately, we saw this when they first played in, I think, the first day or so. And then they kind of sorted themselves out, and they're like, okay, we get the knocks, and then we kill them all, and then we go for the kills. Or if we're 100% safe, we'll finish the player, and that's how it should be. You shouldn't go for the insta kill unless you are 100% safe, and they were not in that fight at all.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. It just seems like that element that we've seen, that we've become so used to them having, is just missing right now, and that's the weird thing.
Yeah, I think it's overconfidence, and the fact is that a lot of these teams have actually done their homework, whilst TRD seemingly have just been like, oh, that was a walk in the park.
Chilling.
Let's do it again. Unfortunately, no.
This will be a wake-up call for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is the top 16 teams only go through, so we're cutting down the mess, and you know what? We had our first couple of 16-team games, which has been quite interesting.
Yeah,
it's a whole different dynamic.
The group stages, obviously, there were a couple of teams that didn't actually go through, so we were typically seeing in the group stages only about 13, maybe 14 teams actually loading in. Obviously, everyone's loaded in today. It's a lot of investment. The teams had to fight and claw their way through here, even though there were only a handful of bubble teams that didn't end up making it at the end of the day. They all were scrapping for those final spots. We'll see some of those teams facing off tomorrow. I want to see what 963, for instance, are able to do. But even the teams that have been at the bottom have been showing up on one level or another. I want to give it to IK for really never giving up. Unfortunately, they keep running into some of the stronger teams, but we know that when they are in a straight-up 4v4, they can fight. It seems like when the chaos comes in, when there's a lot of third parties, that's when IK ends up falling down.
It's also whenever they try to go for a rotate. Unfortunately, we see them too often rotate in one vehicle instead of trying to split
And in the
up.
open, too.
And in the open. And it just seems like they don't know how to wiggle their car around. They don't know how to just actually rotate correctly. So I think that's something that they need to improve on. If they improve on that, then we could see a bit of a drastic change in how they perform. I think the firefight fighting issue is going to be something that they have to do, sort of consider later on. The chaos it sometimes overwhelms them.
And some of the teams that we were questioning on Sanhok and on Vikendi have definitely stepped it back up on Erangel, so a little bit less worries for the likes of MBZ, for ME Assassins as well. They seem a little bit more comfortable, which is funny because ME Assassins, like, I think that was their first Erangel game. They actually ended up all dying environmentally because it was a military circle.
Yeah, that was
and they were
so
way
bad.
out to the west, and then they started swimming because they got no vehicles. Apart from that, I think MEA are actually pretty darn good on Erangel. It just, you know, that game didn't happen. Don't worry about it. But they've definitely looked better. They were in the final 3 there, or rather the final 5. MBZ looked really good. And, of course, the one team that's been fully consistent today, I would say, is Nox.
Yeah, I mean, they've been proving themselves here once again. Unfortunately, they couldn't get into the right position because Executor were actually in the better hillside position.
I mean, Rodel was a beast, man. Nobody was escaping his sights.
No, and I mean, I think this actually proves why Nox are actually a really good team, because instead of just going ham and trying to push against them, they backed off and they were like, okay, fair enough. That's your ground. This is ours. We'll kill people who come into ours. You defend that side. We'll take a couple of shots, but we'll be friendly until we actually have to fight each other. And when that came, they did end up losing, unfortunately, because they had to push against Seven Reef, MBZ, and Executor, who all took shots and knocked down at least one player.
And that's the hard thing. Now, I do think that actually illustrates the big difference between those two Israeli squads, is that AXT are the more aggressive side.
Yeah.
They're the ones going in, whereas Nox, they will more willingly cede ground. And I think that's also why we've seen them consistently perform better in the group stages. But the group stages don't matter anymore. Points were fully reset after that. So in the semifinals, it all comes down to how well you can do. And it may seem that AXT's more aggressive style is giving them more of an edge. It certainly gave them a chicken dinner in that last round.
Yeah, and I mean, if you actually think back of it, Executors actually lost 4 games worth of points, and yet they actually ended up ahead of Nox in the group stage on the leaderboard. So, I mean, I think that goes to say a lot in regards to their ability.
I mean, they placed 7th place, as you mentioned, despite the fact that 4 of those games they lost points for due to playing for an unapproved device. But ever since then, they've been fine. Interestingly enough, they only used their substitute for 4 games after that. That was Palat. They went back to Lord. They've stuck with them ever since. So this does seem to be a team that has found its core 4, unlike a lot of our other squads that are utilizing their 5th player as a rotational member. And you could say, like, maybe that's a consistency issue to be resolved, but, like, there is a reason substitutes are allowed.
No.
And you got to be kidding me.
Come on!
It's the same plane path in reverse.
Sorry for your ears there, guys, but wow. What?
What is this? Okay, everyone drop military base. Let's just end it quick.
Come on, guys. Like, what is going on? So, I mean, one of the main reasons why last game was so bad for so many people was this plane and the fact that it was a northern circle.
Well, I hope there's no northern circle this time.
I hope it's a military circle, and I don't often say that.
You never say that.
But I do hope it is, because this is so terrible. Or center. Actually, you know what? I don't think you've seen a quarry circle before. Those are quite interesting, and I'd be interested to see how a lot of these teams play around that.
No, I actually haven't. I mean, again, I'm a much newer player to the PUBG mobile and, well, even PUBG in general from a casting sense, but you come from a long-time PUBG desktop casting, so...
Lived and breathed it, mate.
You've definitely seen there, been there, and we'll see how different it is on the mobile. But now the teams are going almost unfailingly to the north, with the lone exception being S&T dropping right onto military base.
Yeah, and we will actually be seeing SWAT 69 as well drop over towards
both
Nova.
69 teams, okay. Birds of a feather, I guess.
Yeah, military is a 69 zone. But TRD, they're not going to be dropping over towards Pachinki. They've given that up there. They've conceded it and said, okay, fine. You know what? We have to be a little bit more serious here.
This might be Yesnaya drop. Oh! And that circle is interesting. There's the potential for the military, but it goes all the way up to Yesnaya. This is what we like to see.
This opens up a lot of opportunities for teams to be able to hold on to these bridges, camp them, and stop people from being able to cross from both ways. And if you have a look at MEA, they're actually going to be dropping below Milta. And this is actually a really interesting area for teams to loot, because you can actually have 2 teams in Milta. You can have where they are and also inside Milta. There's enough loot, and there's also Milta power. So you can technically have 3 teams around that area. But we will probably see, as the meta sort of evolves, we'll probably see
devolves, either way.
Yeah. I expect we'll see one team sort of dedicating themselves to Milta and one to Milta power, and no one in between that because it's just too dangerous to play. But nonetheless, let's have a look at this. So the circle is going to be quite an interesting one. It could shift up onto the mainland or could go to military.
Yeah, I definitely like the circle a lot more, and we will see a couple of teams dropping onto Pachinki. IQM, they've had Mustafa there, but he gets fired down immediately by Master from UN.
What are UN doing here?
Yeah, they're finding themselves on Pachinki, and it's 7T that's facing them down. 7T, I mean, they've laid a claim to Pachinki.
Wait, sorry. I just got to take back a step. What are IQM doing there with one player?
Well, I mean, they always seem to drop splitting with Mustafa, but unfortunately, he gets found out immediately.
So that strategy kind of bites IQM in the behind once again, and now it's Boonemer on this high ground of the one building, looking down across the way. But 17 no Pachinki. They drop here a lot. Even when TRD have given it up, they decide to stick around.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a good decision to do. Usually we would have seen 7 Reef dropping over towards Jasnair, but instead they are actually going to be sticking over towards that Pachinki area. I don't know whether it's to just sort of show dominance against TRD, which is actually a fairly clever play, but at the same time, it is questionable. IK, on the other hand, are going to be in Lipovka once again.
Yeah, this would be good if not for the fact that Nox are off there in the distance, and if they do have to move in on them, that's going to be a little bit rough for the iKurd squad.
Yeah, I mean, obviously another team with Kurd in their squad, but not quite the same as KS. Who I'm interested to see them play.
That'll be tomorrow for sure. Yeah. I mean, they are far and away the most popular team at the tournament here. We see the fans giving them love all the time, and I wouldn't be surprised to pop up in chat right now and see even more of it. So, but hopefully throw some of your love towards IK as well. They definitely have earned it over here on Novo. We have the side of SWAT 69. There's Ray, their standout player, running top of crates, but S&T, the only team within the area of them, and they are far away on military base proper. So it's a quiet start to this game. Only a couple of deaths early on. And as I say it, Master does take a few shots from 7T.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how UN perform here, because we've not seen them fight in Pachinki before. We've had VW in the past, but not anymore. So we'll see. 7 Reef, they could do a good job here, but UN are feisty guys. If you try to push against them, they are fairly good at defending themselves in these houses.
No, that's true. Although I would still give the edge to 7T just because they know Pachinki so much better, and they seem to be leveling up over the course of the games today. We still had a lot of worries for them on Vikendi and then on Sanhok, but maybe a little bit less now.
Yes, it seems like they're retaining more of that edge from the past few weeks compared to TRD, who have dropped off a little bit disgustingly, to be honest, and a little bit embarrassingly. The grenade does go out, doesn't do any of that damage, though.
Yeah, not quite the right positioning here. Now, I only see 3 members of 7T. I didn't see anyone drop down earlier on, so hopefully we can shift the view and see if we do have a member here. And Ixu finds the nade onto Nox. What the heck was that?
TRD and 7 Reef have actually switched positions, but they're both doing the same tactics. Grenades away.
Yeah, looks like Master knocked down, and Mims is going to get dropped as well. UN all of a sudden realizing that 7T were rushing into their faces here. Meanwhile, TRD still facing it off against Nox across the way. We'll check back in with that one in just a minute right now. But all of a sudden, a lot of fights happening.
Yeah, there's actually Rush Crush versus HeadHunterr.
Oh my god, they just deleted HeadHunterrs.
No, not quite, because it seems like it's going back and forth. Oh, no, HeadHunterrs, yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are out in 16th. HeadHunterrs unfortunately get knocked out of it once again very quickly. And that's the second time we've seen Rush to Crush do it. Meanwhile, TRD back in this fight up against Nox at Yasnaya have managed to find yet another down. Zero, he's knocked as well. But, again, never count TRD out while players are still standing.
It does seem like 7 Reef have only got 3 players. We have had it before where they only load in with 3. It could be because they don't use a substitute.
Surprising for a team of their caliber too.
Yeah, but we have actually seen them, I think, a couple of times get high placements with only 3 players because they are able to just play like that.
All right, there's the finisher, and that's what we like to see. Hixu going in, getting the finishing blow while his teammates couldn't quite get him back up. And Nox, I think, might be down to 1 member, which looked like to have run away from Yasnaya, seating the ground. Again, we know that they're good at doing that when they know a fight is lost or will be lost.
Yeah, better choice for them to do that now than end up dying. So Nox going to be down to a couple of members here trying to survive, and we can have a look at this circle. It is closing in.
It's just Galiko here, and he's made a run for it down south.
It's actually not a bad area to go to. Well, when I say that, if you're looted up, then it's not a bad place to go. But if you're not, there's not going to be too much loot for him to be able to recover from. So he might have to just shift all the way down south and try and loot up farm.
I was going to ask you, where do you think he's headed? Is he going farm, or is he going to take, a right turn and head over to Potato?
I mean, he's actually going to be landing into a compound in a moment where I think he will end up sticking with his teammate. And there is a couple of buildings there. I think about 4 buildings all have decent loot in, so they should be able to do that. L&D, in the meantime, is going to be looting school apartments, which seem to be mainly done already.
Now, I do want to point out that that's the first time we've seen TRD win a fight, just straight up, against a even or potentially tougher opponent, because they've been able to polish off people 4v4 in the past, and it's looked very easy. But Nox have been on a tear today, and the fact that they just eliminate 3 of them and make it look pretty easy, that's the TRD we've been talking about all day. The glimmer of it shines through, so there's definitely hope for this team to keep making it happen.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately for them, I think they have to perform like crazily good now.
Out of their minds.
They have to get not only the win, they also need to get 20 kills.
Yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of games left to play, but they definitely haven't lived up to their group stage performances by a long shot just yet. 7T are still locked in this fight with the UN members, and as you mentioned, there were only 3 of them loaded in. 1 is now knocked, but it is a fairly even fight. It's 2-on-2 considering 2 of the UN members are dead.
Yeah, and we are going to be seeing the revival of one of the members here, so it's going to be back to 3 members. Now UN in the disadvantage, although they are backing away, and hopefully they do know that this is not a situation they should be trying to win. They should actually just be trying to recover and take the position and placement points, because there's still 15 teams left alive.
Yeah, there are. It's a bit of a quiet start, so, you know, it's been an interesting set of games today, but I think we're starting to see it settle down a little bit. The first few kind of felt to me like your day 1.
Yeah, it seemed like we weren't actually seeing the same sort of styles from a lot of these players. Like TRD, they were just playing completely weird. So were 7 Reef, to be honest. And also, to be fair, LTK, they managed to win 2 games. Circle is going to be closing in. Where is it going to land? I think up north. Oh, no! It is actually going to be a military circle.
Yeah, at least partial.
I think this actually has to be a military circle, and it should probably land right next to the team in the military base.
Yeah, so that is going to be our, not SWAT 69, but SNT, formerly 69 SWAT.
Okay,
Wow.
so there is package death. So Nox are actually in the perfect position. So the way this final circle is going to land is actually it has to have a certain amount of land inside it, and there's actually enough if it lands directly on top of Nox or if it goes down south.
Now, just for those of you who may not be familiar with the way the competitive circles do work, that is basically coded into the rules specifically for tournament play. So if you're asking, wait a minute, why can't it end in the water? Because I've had so many of my PUBG Mobile matches end that way. That's why, because it is a rule for competitive integrity. And our Rush to Crush, we're going to see them. We're going to see over here on military base. This is going to be SNT. They've got a lot of vehicles, they've got a lot of high ground, and they are looking very good, especially compared to last time when they had a very costly fight with TRD earlier. We might see them fighting out against them again later.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's still 15 teams left alive, so it doesn't matter at this point who is alive, because...
All of IQM split. What is Wolf doing?
I mean, do they just hate each other?
Maybe they just all go solo.
I mean, to be fair,
they can't kill us all until they can.
It's a legit strategy. Unfortunately, if you're unlucky enough to run into multiple teams, then you'll get screwed.
Yeah, it's just nobody does it except them.
Yeah. Oh, we are going to be seeing that fight continue, though. UN going to have a member drop down, maybe?
7T closing in here from 2 sides. Fazal looking to breach into the house, and he finds Zeus before he can turn his attention. No! However, there was still Bunimer up there, and now the rest of them come through, and that will be the end of UN out in 15.
And they still managed to walk away with 3 members, but on the other side, we're going to be seeing MEA come under fire. Abbas is going to be dropped by SWAT 69.
As he tried to get over the bridge there, MEA dropped down.
This is the bridge camping I was talking about. And most of these teams are going to be rotating across the military because there's a higher chance for the circle to land on that side compared to the northern side where there's far less land. So I expect to see another hard shift down south.
Yeah, and you're going to start to see a couple of these teams that manage to get spots like AXT have on Ferry Pier over to the boat strats.
Yeah, and they'll be crash landing over towards sort of the D-Day beach, then taking control of that. If
we saw some great plays there earlier on, man. I would love to see another Pride Rock play, but that, of course, was RBK involved in that, which won't be in this round. And MBZ moving away from Pachinki.
Yeah, so they're going to have a hard time in here because they have no vehicles, and it's more likely to be a military circle. If it's not a military circle, then they should actually have a high chance of winning.
But if there's one team that seems to do okay enough on foot across long distances, it's MBZ.
That is true, and it seems like they do have one buggy, if I'm right in saying, if I'm not blind.
No, they've got one.
Yes, they've got one. So maybe that'll help them here. And they're not in a terrible position. Like I said, if it does go hard north, then it might have a chance. But in the meantime, LND trying to take a couple of shots here.
SMP in that one vehicle. They get away just narrowly, but it looked like I think that car was on fire here, so that could be some trouble here. MEA down to 2 members already, as we saw guns get dropped earlier on. Just Falcine and Wasim. And MEA, 5th place last time around, hoping to improve on that performance. Here's the mini-map right now, so we can see as TRD making moves down south. LTK are actually staying by Mansion.
What are they doing?
This surprises the heck out of me.
Do you remember last time when they died to blue?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that is going to be Northern Circle. This is good for Nox's last remaining member, but we got to check back in with this fight as Wasim is going to get dropped by Moha from SWAT 69, and all of a sudden they realize we got to get the heck off this island.
Yeah, so, I mean, like I said, there was a smaller chance for it to shift up north, and that's exactly what's happened. So now these teams...
Just small enough.
Yeah, these teams have to rotate across, and IK actually did a 2-2 split, so they put 2 over towards military, back over towards 7 replay.
Wait, that's Fazat! He just got dropped down, blown by Damu from Rush to Crush.
And that's them out in... was that them?
No, that's a lone member there, so he must have gone AFK.
I was going to say, what was he doing? A little bit of a strange one there, but nonetheless... Rush to Crush and get a kill. They're inside the circle.
Yeah, that was very surprising to see 17 there. I thought it might have been everybody for a second. I'm like, why are they not moving? But no, it was just one member. So
yeah.
A little unfortunate for 17. That means they will be down to 2.
Where are they, though? But we're going to be switching on over towards LND, fighting TRD.
Yeah, and Kevin is going to get eliminated here. TRD finding themselves only 3 members strong now as LND moving out.
They need to get away from this area right now.
King here. That's
too late.
A new member of the team. Yeah, 0. Hixu's not going to get into the car, but they will split their attention and split their positions as well. Here comes the remaining members of 17 looking to move up onto the last 2 members of IQM. What strange fates have brought these 2 teams together.
And the fact that 2 IQM members are actually in the same room at the same time.
Yeah, that's even weirder, to be honest.
On the other screen, we can see still a firefight going out between TRD and LND. One of the knocks out onto LND, though. In the meantime...
Ooh, Mr. 404, he only had 1 sight on, and now Purge will get dropped down. So this is the win for 7T. Checking to make sure nobody else is around there before he gets the eliminations.
They're so confused. They're like, where's the 3rd member or 4th member?
Yeah, IQM are going to be out, I think. No, wait a minute. There's still the 1 player. And this is why they do this strategy every time.
The strat is working, even if they hide in...
Sorry for your ears again, but yeah, geez, I can't believe they get away with this.
That's
so I think it's just, is it Wolf that we saw running by his lonesome earlier?
I honestly can't remember
Wolf
now.
or Tomb, it's always one of the 2.
Yeah. But IK, so they went on either side of the water, and now we're going to be seeing them camp the bridge.
Yeah, let's see if they can pull it off, but look who's across the way in the gas station here. It's
they should not challenge this.
SWAT 6-9. Yeah, I don't think they can afford to peek over this. They might be able to pick off some stragglers across the bridge, but that's about it here. AXT, previous chicken dinner winner, is going to be moving out, but Rush to Crush, they smell a weakened team, and they want to breach into 70's compound with 3 members. Grenade! That's going to be reef drop by Nasser. It's going to be all on Mr. 404i. Can he do it? Can he hold the line? The answer is no. 7 reef out in 14th.
So TRD are actually going to be staying up above them in this one, so we actually might see a chance for them to get somewhere.
IQM outlasted 7 reef team.
All thanks to that split player.
Where is the split player? Oh, it's Wolf. It's Wolf. Look at him right on the eastern side. Unfortunately, he's sandwiched between AXT and Rush to Crush. I think he might be in the water.
No, he's not. He's up on the cliffs. But he's probably going to end up dying to Executor here.
But another single player, Galiko, right in the center of this.
I did mention earlier, did I not say, it was either going to center on Nox or it's going to go hard south onto military.
I mean, if you're Galiko, you're just like, I ain't even mad. I'm just going to chill.
So he can just sit around happy. He doesn't engage in anything, and he just waits for people to drop dead around him, which has been happening. We still have 12 teams alive, which is a surprise.
Yeah,
and now we're going to be seeing these guys.
Team that got eliminated.
They're doing it again.
Yeah.
The thing is,
when will you learn? Caravans are not the best idea.
They started driving before they had all their members in, which means that SWAT 69 are now fully aware of what's going on. They're going to be rotating themselves, and now they know who they have to stop from being able to rotate inside the circle.
Now here's MBZ in their buggy. Just a couple of members, it looks like, so they will be moving around the edge of the circle. But this definitely favors them a bit more because when we thought it was going to be a military circle, that was going to be a hard rotation. This is a little bit better now. And we will see Demon getting dropped down by Mustafa, and even Snaps getting involved as Clown gets dropped by Thanos. A lot of third parties coming in here on the edge of the circle.
That is not an Avengers name I recognize.
Definitely not. But the man can be a little bit busy, why not? Looks like Boom and Script are going to get taken down by Sniper and Sheriff here from SMP, and SMP are flexing their muscles.
I mean, good. They've got one of the final compounds here, and it's actually a pretty healthy one to keep hold of, and it seems like there's going to be members dropping down below them.
It's a split from MBZ. It definitely didn't favor them here, so now it'll be down to Kevlos and Los Kev. Oh, never one without the other for sure. Oh, it's actually 2 more members of Nox. I didn't realize Morsey was still up as well as Galiko. So, against all odds, the 2 of them have managed to stay alive here.
Yeah, and to be honest, just hide away. At the moment, their best opportunity is just to get steady, steady points on placements.
Easy. And there's Wolf, the lone wolf of IQM. And he's found himself a nice little spot to hide out in for just a moment, but he will have to run out in the open, so soon enough he moves away from there. And looks like we've got a couple more fights going down. IK, LTK, everybody getting involved. And IK actually coming up ahead right now on the LTK side, getting some revenge from earlier on in the day's results.
Fantastic news for them, and whilst Wolf is rotating, he should just rotate right now because all this chaos is distracting them from him as he pushes into the circle. Meanwhile, Russia Crush,
they're losing everybody. Russia Crush are just not good in these open areas. We've seen it time and again that they get wiped when they don't have hard cover to rely on. Nasser and Rush are the only ones left up, and goodbye Nasser right now, and it looks like it's going to be lights out for R2C here. Unless they can find some magic.
LTK going to get crushed by IK. That's not something I thought I'd ever say. I think they've got one member standing now on LTK. IK might be able to wipe them from the face of the earth.
Yeah, this is looking good for IK right now because we've seen them just get fired on a little bit too much right now. And it's going to be Red Bull. If there's anybody that can clutch, he will be the one. There's a couple of low health bars, but IK still a 4-member strong.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't think I'd be seeing this. The fact that IK are doing better than 7 Reef, and the shot's coming out. Almost 2 knocks.
May have spoken a little too soon. Kawan's down. Baro is incredibly low, and they should have the positioning, and Baro unfortunately dies to fall.
This is why you were subbed last game, Baro.
Wow, that's big.
Toxic caster, by the way. But yeah, so I mean, it's
just a little.
Kramak is going to go revive them. This should be their main focus. Raran is going to have the position. He's going to take the shots.
He's got it. He's got to go right now, and that's going to be Red Bull taken down. So a 12th place finish coming in there for LTK.
They're going to lose their first spot potentially.
They might.
There's a high chance.
They had 2 chicken dinners, but very low placements after the fact. Wolf still standing. He's going to have to make a break for it though, as he's on the very edge as his circle trends north again.
Yeah, I mean, at least he's made it to 11th. Maybe he might be able to make it up further, but unfortunately, because the Blues right next to him, it's going to be difficult.
Clown drop down again. AXT in a bit of a tight spot. Clown's on his knees, but they will try to finish him there. That's Captain at the forward position. A very good split here for SNT. Rodel getting dropped down as well. It's going to be on Demon. And I don't know if there'll be a repeat chicken dinner here for Executor. It doesn't look like it.
No, they're going to be down as Clown is going to get finished as well. So they're a bit unfortunate here. Captain trying to rotate and pick up the speed with his team as they have to get inside the circle themselves.
This is a great play for SNT right now. Wolf, he's got to start making moves right now. You can't afford to go out so soon, buddy. He's trying to snake. You can't outsnake the blue.
No, at this point, the blue will just kill you. As soon as that touches, he's dead.
He's waiting for SMP to leave.
To be honest, just run at this point.
Yep, here he goes. Can he make it through, though? That's the question. He's losing a lot of health. I think he may have gone a little too long. Makes it into the zone just barely. He needs to get behind cover and heal up, though.
There's actually one member who might be able to take him out from one of the other teams.
Oh, he's just gunning it. He's gunning it. He's in the Jeep. Let's see if he can get away. TRD, they are coming. Demon finally drops. That's going to be an 11th place finish for AXT.
A bit unfortunate for them, but unfortunate for all the other members. And look at that package picking them up. And oh no, Nox have been found, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be Sniper getting dropped down. Nox have been found, but they might be able to outplay SMP here. Meanwhile, they go in for the breach. Thanos gets dropped. Seif is the last man standing for the SMP side, and Morzy and Galiko look to finish him off, but it's so close. Morzy, the last one left, and it just ring around the house. Trying to bait each other out here. This is insanity. A lot of pre-fire.
Oh, Morzy's so
He's just
low.
dropped. He's opted out completely. Morzy's going to go hunting for him.
He shouldn't, though. He's got so low HP, he just needs to heal up.
I think SMP just got finished. SWAT 6-9 managed to do the job, so by a stroke of luck there, Nox managed to stay alive in this. Galiko still knocked. And Morzy, not sure if he has the time to res him.
We're down to 8 teams right now, and we're going to be seeing the clash of the clans here. SNT versus SWAT 69, and now it's going to be SNT pushing over and trying to take on MBZ and also Nox.
Yeah, I think SWAT 6-9 have looked okay, but SNT have looked that much better today. We'll see how it ends up. We had that legendary Miramar 1v1 where these two teams first flashed their rivalries. Who was more worthy of the 69 clan tag? Galiko dropped down. Morzy on his feet, though, as 69 SWAT, or SWAT 6-9, I should say, looking to close in.
And they're going to be able to push in very easily here. I think this is a GG rip for Nox, but
I think you're right. Mustafa coming through! Free fire, just enough, and that will be the end of Nox out in 8th place. To be honest, they lasted quite a long time, all things considered.
Yeah, I'm very surprised they actually managed to make it into 8th place, but they did nonetheless. And now SNT picked up themselves a house, but unfortunately, it's not going to land there. They're going to have to shift up north, the northwestern side, and that's actually where TRD are.
S&T have done a great job at actually getting these rotations there, but they've got to get through a couple of teams, including Wolf, including MBZ's last remaining member. Los Kev.
How's Wolf alive?
I have no idea. I mean, he just got in the car and somehow drove through a complete gauntlet of teams and didn't get killed. Somehow IQM, it's like they've got plot armor. They just don't die until the end.
Yeah, I mean, they are just trying their best to split up and hope for the best, and so far it's working. MBZ could be the downfall of SNT here, though, if they're not careful.
Yeah, they didn't even realize Los Kev was in that house, but he'll have to rotate around the side here. Wolf might be found out for a second, and here's that last remaining member of MBZ, but he's getting fired on by Captain. Leshin actually finding Wolf as well.
Unfortunately,
I think he eliminated him.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to do that. So that's going to be Wolf going out in 7th place for IQM.
I mean, all things considered, again, like they split up so early. Somehow the strategy still places them into the top 10. We'll see how it all goes. Los Kev taking pot shots out the window, and all of a sudden, S&T realized something's up. Narcos didn't see him coming, and Los Kev gets the kill credit for his team.
This is really good for Los Kev. I mean, he's definitely one of their better players.
Boha dropped from SWAT 6-9. All of a sudden, they're not too healthy here as L&D are still in the picture, mixing it up. Rosa finding La Shin. Los Kev gets Narcos.
That's S&T out.
I can't believe it. They dropped in 6 after they were playing that way.
But TRD and LND still in this at the moment. But LND have the compound.
Game. The absolute best TRD game today, but they need to get through IK, LND. Not a lot of cover here for TRD.
IK still alive right now. They got the position, and now TRD approaching that compound of LND. I
can't believe Los Kev is still in this.
It's insane.
He's still hunting the remaining SWAT 6-9 members. It doesn't matter. The Clash of the Clans doesn't really make a whole lot of difference now. Here's the breach. Zero going in. Drop down. It's going to just be up to Hackshot right now. Can he do it? Zero eliminated by Drugs. 4 members strong for L&D. Here comes Faker finding Hackshot. And that's going to be it. They're not eliminated just yet. There still should be one more member. Faker drops down, looking for Hixu. Last member standing, the last hope for TRD. He sprays, he prays, but not hard enough. And that's going to be TRD out in 4th, or 5th, I should say.
IK going to be able to stay above them, but for how long? Groza from SWAT 69 knocking down one of them. Now Rawan trying to take some shots, but in return, he's going to get knocked by Z8
There's
RT.
Barrow. Yeah, Groza looking good on the flank, but IK, the fact that they're still in this at all is impressive. They just need to split off, try to play for positioning.
Package there again for them. This will be the 3rd one, I think, on their team. Maybe 2nd, actually.
Here comes Groza and CBRT.
Oh, look at MBZ. Look at Los Kev.
He's still just waiting and baiting. They don't see him. He's playing just at the end, but I think this is going to be L&D's round to lose right now. They still have 3 members, and one of them is Faker.
Yeah, they've still got the compound right now, but they're going to have to push outside that. That's dangerous, but IK.
Kramek has already dropped down here. L&D seem to have their number today. Not a lot of healthy health bars.
Hey,
Nade is out. And wait for it. Swing. Unfortunately, it's a miss. So Krawan and Kramek managed to find that cover, and they have one split member across the way, but we're watching Los Kev as well. Somehow, still alive in this. Pops himself an energy drink at full health. 4 teams remaining.
If he can just wait until IK get knocked out, that'd be fantastic for him.
And he's even opening fire right now. Back behind the tree he goes. They may have given away his positioning a little bit early, and he gets dropped down by ZBRT, down to 3 teams.
But this actually puts SWAT 69 on a massive decline of situation. IK potentially going to go out, and we could see SWAT 69 getting the 2nd position here, or 1st.
Yeah, well, LND still have all 4 up. I might have spoken a little too soon. Needle getting dropped down. Kawan just opens up fire, and he manages to find a couple of downs. Unfortunately, King turns around and gets Kramek as well. Here's Faker, priming another one. Needle. Kawan just can't thread it. Looking for it. He's the last man standing for IK. Drop down to 2.
Really good positioning from LND. Them finally coming out here, doing really good plays. I mean, Faker's definitely been one of their top players for me, and now it's going to be down to SWAT 69.
It's
definitely
2v4.
One of the best performing teams consistently so far this turn.
Yeah, I think L&D have absolutely got this. They had the last compound. Circle certainly favored their positioning, but they got in position faster. However, the question is, can Groza clutch it out beyond all shadow of a doubt? You still got ZBRT as well. Drugs does get knocked. Good use of the soft cover. And now Drugs is finished off. It's going to be a 3v2.
This is not looking so favorable for them.
L&D, they just can't see the positioning here as the circle closes in. This might be one of the longest games we've had today here at nearly 27 minutes. Nade.
Doesn't do anything.
It's so close, but just behind that rock. However, SWAT 6-9 are going to be the ones that have to move first.
Yeah, and they're going to have to push up to these rocks, which does give them an interesting position, but Groza really needs to push up the hill, but I don't think he can.
Here's the question, Tom. Do they focus Faker, or do they focus the 2 other players from L&D?
I think probably the 2 other players, but unfortunately, because of the hill positioning, I don't think they can. they've got really bad disadvantage here.
Yeah, lots of nades flying. There's really no way for them to get up out of cover without getting a face full of bullets. They are full health, though. They've got that going for them.
They've got the circle advantage on LND's side. I don't see this happening any other way than them taking this this win.
Well, still a chance for SWAT 6-9, but it is dimming right now as they try to weigh their options. LND just waiting, say, you got to come to us. And Groza, he's lit. First aid kit. Can't even finish it. Has to get behind the rock proper. CBRD opens up on a king, gets the drop down. It's a proper 2v2 for the moment. Looking for Faker, doesn't have the angle. Groza back up to 70%.
We might be seeing one hell of a clutch coming out here.
Needle! Oh, this time Groza finds the shots, but he just can't finish the job. He's dropped so low, and the back's against the blue for ZBRT. He's fighting inside of it as he has to make moves to cover fire. Not going to be enough. He opens up, looking for it, looking for the shots, but Faker, will he be able to do it? He does! LND with a chicken dinner.
What a clutch coming in from Faker at the end there, being able to secure the win and the final kill as he picks up his 5th kill. What a fantastic game coming out from them. That is going to be a total of 11 kills for them and a total of 8 kills for second place. SWAT 69. Then for IK, they managed to pick up 5 kills and 3rd place.
That's got to be a best performance.
That is by far.
But man, Tom, SWAT 6-9 gave LND absolute hell at the end of that. It was a 2v4, and they managed to nearly turn the tides. But this is why we call Faker the clutch player of LND. The man simply does not fail.
There's a reason why he's called Faker. He took inspiration, I'd imagine, from Faker himself.
I cast a game where there's a pretty good player named Faker, actually, and I think that's a worthy homage here in the LND side.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just like 1 or 2 games that we see Faker playing really well in this. We've actually seen it multiple times. So you have to give him props to the fact that he's doing it consistently, where he's helping his team out like this. And you know what? This has been an interesting game. We actually see TRD go over towards Jazz. We saw 7T, or 7 Reef, they actually went down to Pachinki, dominated UN in the end.
And got 14th place. I mean, that's the thing, 7T, and this time it was TRD's chances to, turn the tables a little bit more. This was their best performance, but it was still a 5th place. So TRD, are they back? We have to see next time, because that is going to be it for the games today. Let's take a look at the highlights as they went down in this final Erangel match. It all started with IQM and a weekend squad going up against UN, and then 7T come in. They get the fight. They get the win. This was a good play by 7T, as you mentioned, but it didn't last long.
Yeah, so we do obviously see one of the first members there dying for 7 Reef, but then the push came in. Fazar gets knocked. Doesn't get finished, though. Very lucky for him as his teammates rush in, guns a-blazing, save him. But unfortunately for Wazir, he was not saved by his teammates. Fazar eventually going to get taken out by his car blowing up on him.
Yeah, that one's a little bit unfortunate. And then this is where LND faced off against TRD. And honestly, TRD had the pretty good sense to not stick around for too long. Otherwise, things would have gone pretty south for them. 7T push in onto the IQM members. They end up winning the fight here, but at grievous cost. At this point, they're pretty much just down to 2. And then Rush to Crush do what Rush to Crush do best. They realize there's a disadvantage in numbers, and they just move in. And I feel like it's a little bit rough that Rush to Crush were there for 7T, but you've got to be prepared for that instance. You've got to be ready to jump out the window. LTK get dropped down by IK, and this is the best IK we've seen so far.
Yeah, they actually get multiple kills, which was a big surprise for me. But you know what? Kevlos, probably the best performance. Maybe actually my MVP of the whole game.
Oh, really?
Because he actually did really well.
He turned the tide for sure.
Yeah, he managed to sneak into a building whilst 2 teams were fighting. And then he managed to backstab, I think, actually 3 different teams.
Here was Faker. On the perspective, when there were still 5 teams remaining, he found the TRD members and managed to finish the job. This guy is just so incredible on the shots, lighting them up time and time again, and he's definitely going to be lighting up a lot more scoreboards before we're through.
Yeah, and he did do a lot of knocks there, but this is what I'm talking about. Lost Kev knocks down 1, goes in for the second one, doesn't quite get it, but then onto Karan, also being able to knock down Needle, and this was actually the 4th player he managed to get the kill on for LND, if I'm right in saying.
Yeah, and it's nice to see a solo player from MBZ stepping up in the clutch, because we've seen a lot of patterns emerge from the MBZ side where they come in, they do pretty well rotating, and then usually get wiped, but this was more of the IQM strats where everybody goes out except one, and then that one player manages to sneak around the map and just pick off kill after kill after kill.
Yeah,
I think in 4th place ain't too bad.
Yeah, and I'm not too surprised that who it was. Like, Kevlos has actually done very well in previous games.
Was it Kevlos or Los Kev?
So similar now. I'm fairly certain it's Kevlos, but
I think you're right. I just wanted to throw a spanner in the works there.
Could be wrong due to them some reason having similar names.
And they always stick together in groups of 2.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm intrigued to see how they do later on because that was a good performance. But have to give it to the last couple of teams there, especially SWAT 69 coming through, and I think they might actually take first place.
Yeah, you know, the consistent performance across the way has definitely favored them a lot. I'm really excited to see where they end up placing. However, L&D getting that chicken dinner was really good. I think it was a long time in coming, to be honest, because L&D had a couple of unfortunate early fights, but we've seen they've been able to tangle with some of the strongest teams in the tournament, and they've had TRD's number all of today long. We saw Faker earlier in the day really step up and take them down earlier on. He did the same thing here, but we are going to compare L&D to IK. Both of these teams having insane performances here on Erangel, 11 kills to 5. And iKurdTeam actually have the heavier damage.
That's the first time I think I've seen them hit above 1K. So that's really impressive from their side. So they actually get 24 points as well, which is, I think, the most they've got in a single game. 5 kills as well. Really good for them. But let's have a look at the direct-to-direct. I think this is a bit of an unfair one, but
it's
the damage...
not fair for Rowan.
The damage actually is almost very similar. Aaron actually only, I think, 60 points behind that of Faker. So that's actually fairly decent, but... kills-wise, Faker's got over double.
He gets the executions. That's what Faker does for sure. Now we'll take a look at Drugs versus Kawan. This one's a lot more even, although Kawan does have a lot more of the damage, and this is what we're talking about with those damage numbers for IK. Distance covered, of course. Drugs didn't travel nearly as far. IK were moving all across the map today.
Yeah, that damage is interesting. But yeah, like you said, they've been rotating quite well, and that's one of the things we said that they needed to improve on, and they didn't actually die rotation, so that's a surprise.
I don't think Riot loaded in on this one, so we'll take just a look at Kramek's numbers, and he kind of died a little bit early. Here we go. This was more about Needle and Borrow. Borrow actually had a pretty rough round for himself. He still pumped out a decent bit of damage, but couldn't find any kills. Needle on the opposite side, he managed to get just the one, and I think it was in one of those final fights, and 110 damage, so just enough to actually get that full kill.
Yeah, so pretty good showing from both teams. L&D obviously being able to take the win, and you sort of mentioned TRD earlier being sort of one of the guys that they've been opposing, and that's definitely the case because they actually wiped them out on Sanhok, if I remember correctly, as well in that fight. So
it was
really,
a good breach.
Yeah, really impressive. It seems like we found TRD's kryptonite, and it is L&D.
Of course, TRD have had their own kryptonite today as well.
Yeah, definitely. Quite a few of them. But also, LTK were wiped by IK. I just want to bring that up. The top team versus one of the bottom teams.
Anything can happen. We have a lot more PUBG Mobile to play. But, of course, if you want to catch up on the standings and, of course, look at all the players and the rosters for each of the squads here at the ME region, as well as all the regions across the tournament, you can go to our website at clubopen.pubgmobile.com for all that information and more.
Yeah, I mean, make sure to go check it out. I mean, it's a really good source of information. We use it ourselves all the time.
Keep up on everything.
Yeah, I mean,
we got news as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually quite a few interesting ones on there. There's been a highlight of the Middle Eastern region as well. After week 2, we had a really good result.
Speaking of highlights,
it's
also another place you guys can go if you want to catch all the highlights from all of our matches. You can go to our YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/PUBGMobileEsports. And don't forget to smash that subscription button and...
ding dong, that notification bell.
Music to my ears as well, to make sure you don't miss a single minute of the PUBG Mobile action, whether you're watching the ME region or any of the other ones that are broadcasting around the world. I cannot wait to see what that top 16 global finals are, fighting for the $2.5 million prize pool. But that is all for us today. The first day of the semifinals has concluded, so thank you for joining us. On behalf of the broadcast team, myself, Tom, Freeman Pickering, and all of our broadcast partners, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central European Summer Time. Be there or be square.
PUBG Mobile for free.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?